it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second part of our coverage of the 2012 World Cup Finals here live on GlacierTV. This time around, we are joined by Marius Gollenbeck representing Club Diat, David Ward, and Dan Blake, Will Vincent as well. That's me. And Marius, I'm going to come to you first. We've done half of it. Now we head to the high banks of Texas Motor Speedway. 24 degrees, almost 1.5 miles in length. Here we go again, and there's a lot still to play for.
Absolutely, and hello me as well. The last race for us today, we've had a couple of broadcasts already, but the second half of the World Cup is going to start in a couple of moments here, 10 minutes about till the qualifying is fully over, and then the race will be underway within a couple of minutes. It is between these four clubs. It is Brazil, DH, of course being Germany, Austria and Switzerland, England and Finland. So these four clubs are fighting for the glory here, the World Cup title in 2012 here for these guys. And so far, recapitulating the results from Road, it is looking fairly good for Club Finland, 26 points ahead of DH, but we know already that DH is also a very strong oval team, so nothing is really decided yet, and we're definitely looking towards a very exciting race here. 100 laps at Texas International Motor Speedway.
And you talk about how good DH are on the ovals. I remember that race where you came 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it was something as crazy as that. But I mean, we're going to get qualifying times coming through, filtering through in a couple of moments' time. Before we do that, as I said earlier on, we were running through the Ironman of the World Cup 2012 and also some of the club MVPs as well. We got ourselves up to New Jersey. We're going to run through the rest of them now. Mid-South's most valuable driver. This is a driver who scored the most points for their club in the World Cup qualifiers. Jay Osborne for Mid-South with 58 points. For Club Italia, Nicolo Sciatti, it was 64 points. For Club Iberia, Javier Lorenzo, 54 points. Florida MVP, Chad Holmes with 59 points. For Finland, Alexia Loma, 74 points. Eastern Canada, Nick Ritchie with 59 points. For Diat, John Jens with 78 points. Central Eastern Europe, Istvan Bala with 34 points. For Carolina, Michael Taylor for 65 points. For California Club, David Avedo with 48 points. For Brazil, Anderson Perez, 72 points. And for Australia, New Zealand, it was Benjamin Rothberg with 67 points. We got ourselves the tournament MVP and the captain of the year still to come. And Dan, I'm going to come to you very quickly. After the road course, there's still a lot to play for. At the moment, it does look like it's a two-horse race, though.
Yeah, I think UK and I and Brazil are probably a bit too far behind. Where UK and I wouldn't rule them out on the oval side. Since the oval leagues and that have started, there's been a lot more oval intake, and some of the drivers are getting quite good at the oval. I wouldn't rule them completely out for the oval, but I think overall it really is just between DH and Finland.
And that's a very useful point, actually. Quite waiting the new club, the club captain there for Club UK&I really has been pushing on the oval side, David. We've got ourselves now a full program on the ovals running 5 days a week, and that really has helped transform the oval program quite a bit, because before that we were limited only to a very small handful of drivers.
Yeah, it's good to have this program, and hopefully it'll get a lot more English and UK and Ireland club members involved in oval racing, as well as IndyCar oval racing as well. You know, they translate quite well. So yeah, it's helped. I don't think it's going to be enough, but maybe next year we'll be able to have a few more people who can get up onto that pace of the DH guys.
And Marius, I'm going to come back to you here. As a club captain yourself, I mean, how do you manage to get yourself a very good oval and road program, especially, for example, when more drivers race road than oval?
Yeah, basically, we've got a couple of good custom leagues in the German community. So we've got a couple of leagues in the virtualracing.org community. We've got the GNC, which is a big oval league, and just a couple of drivers there emerging. Of course, this is not always with the Impala B. It's usually in the A car. It's usually in the truck. But these guys race ovals for every second or third week. So there is definitely a pool of drivers there, and we've got a couple of fast drivers as well. For example, Philip Geis, who just made the move into the DWC. We've got Martin Thiemt, who's a former DWC driver, and also Benjamin Burmeister, who ran the Pro Series. So we've got the pool. I don't think we need to look for the guys, and it's just been a matter of motivating them. I mean, on an oval like Texas, with the Impala B, which is a relatively straightforward car, it's just so few things which you can make different, and with so few things you might even get the 100th or the 1000th even down, and it's really just a task to get 1/10 down. And I think the preparation's been good though, so we're definitely looking stronger on the oval side than on the road side this year, and I still see a chance that we might turn this around.
And we're getting some results filtering through. We're going to start with Club Finland, Jukka Sovalainen, a 28.857. Aleksi Aloma, a 28.871. Huey Mantila with a 28.873. Joni Hagner, 28.913. Marco Pentinen, 28.939. Petri Kotovar, 28.942. GlacierTV's own Joni Backlund, 29.944. And then, ladies and gentlemen, he can turn left. Gregor Hutu with a 29.970 and Harry Sapane at 28.993. Moving on immediately to Brazil, their lineup is Egor Kops. He did a 28.872, which puts him actually third of the drivers we've talked about so far. And then Anderson Pace with a 28.881, Rafael Delimi with a 28.906, Andrea Pahiro with a 28.986 as well. And then JC Nogueira, Bruno Nohura, Pedro Carvalho, Royal Sarabia, and Marcel Massa. They are your top 9 drivers for Club Brazil. We're going to get the DH results in a moment, but for Club UK&I, Mark Molyneux, Jake Foster, Blake Townend, Gary Firkins, Andy Keristoffer, Simon Field, Alice Stevens, Steve Richardson, and Jonathan Rex. They are your top 9 drivers. Unfortunately, I only qualified in 14th because I'm slow. And for Club DH, we have got ourselves nope, that's the wrong one. And for Club DH, we have got ourselves Alexander Abraham with a 28.898. Robin Murnak with a 28.937. And then Martin Taint, Benjamin Burmeister, Hamport Nulius, Dirk A. Kalinski, Dennis Hertscher, Jorn Jens, and Florian Kohlhofer. They are your top 9 drivers. And that, by my watch, means that Club Finland have the pole for the oval, Marius.
Yeah, it indeed looks very close here. The aim is to get a 28-second lap in. Anything below the 29 mark is definitely a good lap there. So far, 6 out of the DH drivers have made a 28 lap, and counting 9 out of the 9 drivers from Finland has made a 28. Of course, we're looking towards a 100-lap race, so the qualifying result is not really the thing to put out here. But in the Club Brazil as well, we've got a couple of drivers below the 29 mark, but there we see it's only 4. So there's another difference between England, Brazil, and DH and Finland. So it might be decided already who's taken the victory. It might not be decided who's taken the victory, but it will be decided who's going to be second and first, and it will be between Finland and DH.
And so much to talk about for this race as well. Before I go any further, we have got ourselves a message from one of the World Cup organisers, Katie Scott. She wants me to pass on my thanks to everyone for all the support we've had in the World Cup 2012. Mike and her are already discussing next year, and they hope that it will improve on what has, in their opinion, been the best World Cup yet. Marius, I mean, 12 months ago, this event was pretty much dead. We had Mike and Katie and a couple of other drivers come together, kind of restart it almost from scratch, and they've done a great job in providing what we have now.
Yeah, it's a whole new structure. So we've basically got the regular sort of iRacing system. Of course, with the regular series, the iRacing Grand Prix series, the NASCAR World Series, and a couple of other series as well. So last year and the years before, it has all been official. So safety rating in effect, iRating in effect, and even the qualification races have been held via this. So anything you did basically was sanctioned under the safety and iRating, and that just, I think, held a few people off. And it was quite difficult to get your planning in. People could take away spots, and it made all a lot more complicated. And then the hosted sessions came out, and the tournament came out, and everything got a little bit more popular. So from then on, the guys around Mike Ouellette, who organizes this World Cup now, have just decided to switch to a hosted session to make the whole thing a tournament, basically involving even the first qualifying rounds almost a year ago, and trying to make it a bit more complex, but still a bit more simple for the viewer, really. So Mike, for example, can adjust the qualifying, he can adjust the grid, and even if there's a little bit of a problem with the drivers, he can still figure it out before the race starts. And one of the most important things, of course, safety rating and iRating not in effect for the hosted session. Overall, a very complex system, but for the user as well for the admins, a very good move from iRacing, and that's not only for the World Cup but also for the regular end users, which tend to do their private leagues in it.
And David, I'm going to come to you at this point as well. The 4 clubs that got through to the final, we probably had a pool of about 6 clubs who we thought could really get up there. And they were, of course, Finland, DH, UK&I, Brazil, but then we had club Australia, New Zealand, and Italia really knocking on the door as well. What we've seen this year, however, is participation has just jumped through the roof. And more than ever, people are proud to support their club, which, a couple of years back was almost a secondary nature thing.
Yeah, and I can say sorry for that. I can even see within the club, really. I mean, there's the drivers which put in their effort for driving, and of course are involved in that by that. But even without being involved in it directly, we've got a couple of drivers just trying to focus on the event and trying to help the drivers here. I know I'm not David, but I did overhear that for a couple of bits. So I'm going to give over to David and just see how it is for the UK&I club.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic, bit of camaraderie amongst the guys and get everyone on there. It's nice to have everyone come together and actually push for something as a whole instead of doing the racing against each other. You're racing as part of a team to come through and basically try and get through into the finals. We were lucky to do it because there's some really fast guys out in Italy. So yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Hopefully we can come back stronger next year. You never know. It's not over yet because in the ovals, 1 wreck and that's it. All we need to do is just keep it clean.
And let's talk about the racetrack very quickly. 1.5 miles-ish in length, 24 degrees of banking, very steep banking for this racetrack, but also, David, incredibly narrow as well. These cars, you can put them 3 wide, but you do that, someone is going to come out not being a very happy bunny.
Yeah, I drove this track a lot in the IndyCar, and it did seem that there was one line and it ended up being a bit of a train as such. Whether that's any different in the NASCARs, I honestly don't know because I've not seen them race at this high level competitively side by side. So it's going to be fun to watch. So let's see what happens.
And Dan, as well, this track, it's NASCAR. And NASCAR, different set of rules in some ways to what we have on the roadside, you know, a little bit more bumping and banging might go along, and especially you can always push the competition into the corner, and that might make things very interesting.
Yeah, team tactics as well. You can have a bit of drafting, anything to make things go a bit quicker. And also, as you said before, we can have the odd bump and run where someone tries to tap someone a little bit wide or just try to put them off a little bit in the corners to go down the inside and gain a position. So yeah, we could see a bit more contact than we did in the road race.
So you are listening to the pre-race show here live on Glacier TV for the second part of the World Cup final. So those of you who are just joining us, where the hell have you been? However, early on, we had ourselves a road race at Road America, and it came out that Gregor Hooter, who started the race in the second position, was able to take advantage of a mistake by Martin Kroenke down into turn number 5. Kroenke got his car onto the curve, just as we saw in the iRacing Pro Series earlier on. To get that car onto the curve, right in the centre of the car, really does upset it quite a bit. Kroenke was able to get his way past, and then Hugo Lewis had himself a great pit stop, 1.1 seconds faster than anyone else. He moved himself up into the second position. Kroenke had to settle for the third spot. The point standings coming out of the road round: in fourth place, Brazil, 119 points. In third place, UK and Ireland, 139 points. Club Diat, 191 points, but leading the charge. Club Finland, 217 points. And Marius, Mr. Club Captain for Diat, you've got a lot of work to do on the ovals, but it's so easy for it to turn around in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and especially when it goes to the oval, you can't exactly see from the qualifying results where the guys are. So even yeah, I mean the leader here, who's going to take the car down into the first turn, leading the field. I mean, he's just 100 quicker than somebody on place 10, and it's just such a marginal difference, really. Anything can happen, and with 100 laps, we're expecting some of the cautions, maybe even a pit stop under green. It will all be shaken up a lot, and yeah, I'm safe to say I'm really proud of the guys already, and they've done terrific practice, and I think they got it in them. They've got some good pace there, especially in the race, and yeah, I think there's a realistic chance to turn this around.
And don't forget, you can keep in contact with us all race long. Use the hashtag iRacing World Cup, all one word please, iRacing World Cup, and also you can get in contact with your team using a special club hashtag for Diat. iRacing Diat. For Finland, iRacing Finland. For Brazil, iRacing Brazil with the S. And for UK and iRacing UKI. And we'll read out some of the best tweets a little bit later on. Timo Even at Even and Timu. Proud to put my car fourth on the road race. Oval coming up in the lead with 26 points at the moment. Hashtag iRacing World Cup. We're waiting for Mr. Mike Oiwet to do all the hard work behind the scenes, and we're going to get ourselves racing in a little while's time. We have to say, though, Marius, the anticipation for this entire World Cup is built up over months. We were talking to you and Yoni earlier on about how, you know, you've had yourself some friendly rivalry. It all comes now down to 100 laps between yourself and Finland for who gets bragging rights to the next year. And I tell you what, either way, if you win it or if Yoni wins it with Finland, I'm not going to hear the end of it, am I?
To be fair, Will, winning this event since its creation, I'm safe to say that if we give away the title one time, the others shouldn't lose the fun of it. So, I mean, yeah, we're still trying to get the victory, but it's definitely going to be a close one. And if Finland takes this home, it's well deserved. Nothing else to say. They've done a good preparation on road. Definitely fast guys there. But so far to say, it's definitely not over yet, and we'll see how they'll perform in the oval.
And how do you rate your chances on the oval on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you think you can pull back that 26-point deficit?
It's so hard to say, really. I mean, it takes one of the Club Finland guys who runs at top of the field to get wrecked or to have a problem there or get a penalty when going in too fast in the pits. I mean, that throws you back a whole lot. In the road, for example, you run sort of in the mid-pack, you make a mistake, you've got a couple of drivers behind you, 10 seconds. You can afford the mistake. You won't immediately lose a couple of positions. On the oval, however, probably 20, 25 people will be within one lap when half of the race is over. So as soon as you put the car into the wall, you're not just going to lose a couple of positions, but you're going to be handed all the way back, and you find yourself in the last couple of positions. So I think it's a lot easier to make up points and to profit from eventual mistakes from other clubs, but it's still going to be a lot of work. However, I'm confident. I have to stick with my club, and they'll make it work.
And Dan, you've been kind of representing Club Brazil for us today, having a look at all their sessions. Do you think they have a chance to get that huge 100-point deficit?
I'd say it's very, very unlikely, to be honest. They're not. They're still lacking a bit between the time set by Diac and Finland. I think the battle. I think they could have a chance of third though against UK and I. I think that's gonna be. I think we're really looking at two main battles in this race: the battle for the overall victory between Diac and Club Finland, but also like, the bronze medal position as such between UK and I and Brazil. I think that'd be quite an interesting one to watch as well.
And David, you're in your bulldog outfit with, the Union flag flying all over the place. UK's chances, go.
We're gonna win it.
Anything else?
No, I just blatant. We're gonna win it. Something's gonna happen at the start or halfway through. There's gonna be a big wreck, and we'll just come through.
I haven't asked this yet. What happens?
You're
if
not
it's a
that far
tie?
behind, so.
If there's a tie, what happens? Do we go to penalties?
No, we win.
All right, nothing to argue.
We're going to be right back. We're going to play a short video. We'll be right back after these messages. We're going to try and get ourselves some racing in probably the next 5-10 minutes. We'll be right back.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
And welcome back to the pre-race show for the 2012 World Cup Finals here live on GlacierTV. Will Vincent, Dan Blake, David Ward and Marius Gonenbeck in the booth, getting ready to go racing at Texas Motor Speedway. And David, we'll talk about that track one more time. And 24 degrees of banking. And the thing is as well that if you get off the banking, in the corners, you get a little bit loose and you go onto the apron, it's a big banking difference there. Pretty much no banking on the apron at all. And that makes things even worse if you're involved in an incident.
Yeah, if you hit that apron or go down onto it, I remember there's a real nasty bump that comes on as just off turn 2, and it can really upset the car. So if you hit that, you could just quite easily fly off into the wall, and there's going to be zero chance of saving it. And then you've got another 20-odd guys behind you who could quite easily just plow into you. It's going to be a real tight race. There's going to definitely be some bumping and barging to go through, and I suspect there's going to be a lot of yellow flags. So it's all going to come down to strategy.
Strategy is that important part, Marius, and we have seen some races which had a long 40, 50 lap green flag runs. We've also seen other races with a lot shorter, stop-startiness, and that created a very interesting situation where drivers trying to take 2 tyres, 4 tyres, come down pit road to get fresh tyres or not get tyres. There's a lot to think about in the second race.
Yeah, that's a lot of options, and since this is a track with relatively high banking, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, if the stint takes relatively long, you probably have to take 4 tires straight away. You just lose too much time with 2 tires. I mean, you make it up on the pit stop, you get out, and you're right ahead of the guys on 4 tires. So with 4 tires, you should have the advantage over a long stint, and I don't see how 2 tires could work. I'd rather see them working on tracks like Daytona or even Charlotte, where it might make up some time. But with a track so short and so much banking, and well, you don't even know when the next yellow is going to come up. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with 4 tires mostly.
And Dan, that's the critical part of this race. You know, on the road course, it was just take yourself 4 fresh tyres and top up with race gas. Here, there's so much more to play for, and you never know when you're going to get yourself a long green flag run.
Exactly, and also the difference between 2 and 4 tyres can make a big difference as well. I've been watching some of the Pro Series NASCAR races, and sometimes making the wrong call on pit stops, as soon as it goes green again, you can get gobbled up alive by those who take 4 tyres. So it really can be a big difference between what you take on fuel and your strategy. So that could play a very big part in this race.
And we're going to get ourselves some live pictures from Texas Motor Speedway in a couple of moments' time. And I'm so looking forward to this. You know, the way it works. And the thing is, we're seeing, well, in my mind, the first time in God knows how long, if not ever, Gregor Hooter is turning left. That's going to be interesting to watch, David.
I'm looking forward to this. I think he's going to show a few people how it's done.
And to take you through a little bit of the process of how this works, the way the tyres work is they work really good for about 2-3 laps, and then you start getting that fall off. It's very big at first, and you get a gradual fall off for the rest of the race from there on in. So these drivers, you know, are really going to have to manage their tyres. As I've kept on saying, you never know when you're going to get yourself a long green flag run, or whether it's going to be a stop-start race. Marius, I'm guessing your guys have spent a lot of time practicing just how much they can push those tyres throughout the course of a run, not only by yourself in clean air, but in traffic as well.
Yeah, I think that's our strength, really. I mean, the guys have put a lot of effort into the race set, got a couple of versions of the race set really to custom everyone. And I think over a long green flag run, we should have an advantage over a lot of these people. And this is really our chance here. I mean, I'm not really sure at the beginning of the race how it's going to go, but the guys put a lot of effort into the stints. They put a lot of effort into what's going to happen exactly. When is the setup getting tighter? When is it maybe getting looser? So what do I do on the pit stop? When is it maybe a chance to only swap 2 tires? So they've got all these variables added out, and I think the preparing just went yeah, as good as it could go, really, and there's nothing else to do but to try our best right now and try to make this work.
Yep, we're going to get ourselves some live pictures from Texas Motor Speedway coming your way in just a couple of seconds' time. Who do you think's going to win here? I mean, we've got Finland on top. Diach, you know, they're hot on the heels, but who do you think is going to win here today, Dan?
We talk what the overall or which driver?
No, which club's going to take victory in the actual race?
I think Diach will probably take the victory on the oval side because I think they are probably the stronger of the 4 countries on the oval. They've got some good drivers on the oval side, but also I think Finland and UK and I may also put up a bit of a surprise. I think UK and I will put a good showing in this race. As I said before, the oval scene has been really improved, so I think UK and I could actually shock a few people in this race.
And got ourselves now live photos from Texas Motor Speedway. Everyone give us a cheer.
You said photos again.
Yeah. Oh, no one's
Footage! We've got
Footage!
live footage, moving cars, not only stationary, showing you the beautiful Texas Motor Speedway. 2.41 kilometers in length, and what is that in miles, Will? Exactly?
It is exactly 1.486 miles, as measured by CART in 2001. See, I know my stuff on the oval.
See? And it's 4 turns, unsurprisingly, of course.
That's okay.
And,
I take that back. It's 4 turns. They call it 4 turns. In reality, if you're going to go down that route, it's 6
2
turns.
turns. It's 2
No,
turns.
no, because you've got the front straightaway. You've got the 2 kicks to the left.
It's just 2 turns. There's like
To all our
one.
American viewers, then we do apologise. No, because you've got the 2 kicks to the left-hand side. So we're going to run through the grid as they go on to the pace lap. As we said, it is Finland leading the way. They got pole position. We're going to run through the entire grid when we see it. It's going to be highly entertaining to watch, and a very big thank you to all of our viewers who watched the first races. Now, watching live online to watch the second race here live on GlacierTV as well. Will Vincent, Dan Blake, David Ward and Marius Gondenbeck bringing you some coverage from the race here at Texas Motor Speedway. Yeah. Okay, we're going to ask you another question, Marius. When's the first big one going to happen?
I hope never. I mean, this is a pretty straightforward combo. I mean, Texas is one of the most used ovals in the whole service, and also the Impala B is just a hugely favorite car. I hope guys just keep it together. I mean, there's always going to be a couple of incidents with the drivers, but yeah, I hope big one's just gonna at least yeah, stretch out to the end.
David, what do you think is going to happen these first 5 laps?
I have absolutely no idea. There's going to be a big wreck, I think, at the beginning. Someone's going to get a little bit antsy and just push it that too much, and there's just going to be a huge wreck, and then we'll be left with a few cars.
Okay, and we're going to get ourselves, of course, as we did in the last race, live points throughout the race as well. For those of you who are just joining us, we will cap it one more time. The point standings in the 4th position. Unfortunately for Club Brazil, they are trailing in the last spot for the time being. In the 3rd position, you have Club UKNI. In 2nd position, Club Diaz. In 1st place, Club Finland with a 26-point gap over Club Diaz. In theory, a 98-point gap is going to be hugely difficult for Club Brazil to gain back. UKNI just on the outside. They can just about get back. We've got ourselves 3 minutes left of warm-up, and we've seen cars already pushing it quite a lot. It's going to be hugely entertaining to see what happens to these drivers. Right now, I'm thinking that they're all very close to the footed.
Yeah, they all seem pretty close together at the moment. I think they're just trying to get into the groove of actually racing again, because qualifying is a completely different driving style. Racing someone as well in this, there's going to be a lot of bump drafting, a lot of cars close together, so lap times are going to be a little bit irrelevant. And also, if you're a guy in 20th place, whoever knows, you could come up after a pit stop and be leading it.
I'll tell you what, the second comment I've seen on today is by Kibbo. I don't know what your real name is, but iRacing needs to scan a unicycle. Can you imagine a unicycle going around this race? That would be a hilarious one to watch. But it's going to be really interesting. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people who are here just to see Gregor Hootie driving over. Jamie Costa, big shout out to you. Rafael Sankey, Brazil for the win. Good luck, guys. Casting Belcher. This is very exciting. And Paul, very English. Hello, everyone. Hello, to the tip to you, Paul. Marius, it's all about 100 laps. It's going to decide who is going to be the World Cup champions in 2012. DH won it 3 times in a row. Finland have put it on the charge of their life to try and get it this year. 100 laps separates us from the ultimate glory for one club.
Yeah.
Are you nervous? Are you nervous?
Nah, I was a little bit nervous when I drove myself, obviously then winning it into lap 3. Took away the nervosity, so it turned into pure, yeah, cycle. Anyway, one would suspect that Finland cannot win this without Gregor Hootie, so obviously he had to come and secure the victory here. If it's not going to happen right now, it's going to be a big bust for the Hootie myth, that's for sure. So Gregor Hootie trying to push Club Finland here. A lot of strong drivers, Jukka Savolainen as well from the Pro Series in here, and Diaz with a couple of strong drivers as well from the Pro Series. And it's just going to be so close, really. I mean, Brazil has got some good drivers there, but they are pretty much out of contention, so they need to just risk everything they've got, as well as UKNI. And all the clubs have got good drivers, but overall it's going to be a battle between Diaz and Finland, just to say that once again. I think, yeah, not to sound biased, but I think we might have the hand over this. I mean, it's just looking very good so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if we take the victory on the oval. The big question is, however, will it be enough to take the overall victory?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. As warm-up, this is making things more interesting. It is Anderson Paes in the 18 car who is leading the way, and that 18 car is representing Club Brazil. Throughout the course of the race, you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, when we show a driver, you'll see their club badge on the car, and as it was alluded to earlier on in this broadcast, you'll see all the UKNI cars. There will be in a predominantly green paint scheme. For Club Brazil, they are going with blue, yellow and white. For Club Diat, it is black and white, the colours of choice. And then for the Finnish drivers, expected predominantly blue car by them. Heading ourselves to the grid. Now we can run through the starting grid for the World Cup of iRacing oval race, and Jukka Sovalainen getting pole position from Alexia Loma, Igor Kops in third, Jure Mantila in fourth, Anderson Pace in fifth, Alexander Abraham in sixth position, Raphael Donnelly in seventh, Joni Hagner in eighth, Robin Murdenk in ninth, Marco Pentinen in the 10th position, Martin Taint in 11th, Petru Kotavara in 12th, Jody Backman 13th, Benjamin Burnmeister 14th, Jan-Paul Niels in 15th, Dirk Eklinski in 16th, Gregor Hutu 17th, Mark Molyneux in 18th, Jake Forster 19th, and Andrea Pinheiro rounding out your top 20. Rest of the results up on your screen momentarily. Marius, feel free to talk for 30 seconds.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, you just read the driver names, but take a look at how the rows are made up. I mean, first row completely Finland, second row Brazil, Finland. Third row is Brazil DH. Fourth row Brazil Finland. So there's almost a Finnish guy in every of these rows. In the fifth row, Robin Muntang, Marco Pentinen, DH Finland. Petri Kotivara, Martin Tim, DH Finland. Joni Beckman, Benjamin Burmeister, DH Finland. And then it's the only DH row which is, except for the first row, only filled with drivers from one club. And then it's Gregor Hutter and Mark Molyneux, again Finland and England. So it's definitely a mix-up here, but Finland has done a good qualifying so far. It's just going to be a question of whether or not they are going to translate this into the race performance.
Cars working behind the iRacing.com safety car on the high 24-degree banked Texas Motor Speedway, one of the more famous tracks, not only in NASCAR racing but also in IndyCar racing as well. And these drivers will be doing battle for 100 laps, so 150 miles around this racetrack, and really looking forward to this. A very big thank you once again to everyone who supported the World Cup over the course of this year. This track, it broke ground in 1995, opened in 1996. It's become a hallmark of racing ever since then. The pace car working its way through turn number 3 and 4, about to make that hard left turn down towards pit road. Jukka Sovalainen and Alexia Loma, they are road number 1. Igor Cox and Jure Mantila, they are road number 2. Anderson Pace and Alexander Abraham, road number 3. The pace car indeed now makes that hard left turn down towards pit road, and the World Cup Oval Finals here on GlacierTV is now green. I tell you what, a great start there by the three Finnish drivers. In fact, you see there, and see the boys just clear. Igor Cox works their way down his turn and one by the first man they need to do. It's three Finnish drivers from 2 Brazilian drivers, or a DS driver, then another Brazilian driver. But you've got Joni Hagner looking to the outside of Raphael Donnelly as they work their way down the back straightaway for the first time. He's going to be close enough, and I tell you what, very close there with Robin Murdenk, and he just gets turned. You see that Pentinen almost getting turned there as they work their way out of turn number 4. They're going to be 3 wide as they work their way past the start finish.
There's an
first time.
2 DH drivers going into Joni Backman, so 2 DH drivers there involved in an incident.
Yeah,
Joni not aware that this is going 3 wide, and the 2 guys inside of him couldn't really make any move there. So incident between Robin Muntang, who also comes down back into the grid, hits a driver from Club England, which is Mark Molyneux, and luckily then spins on the apron.
Yeah, and we're working under caution for the first time on lap number 2. Here at Texas Motor Speedway, the caution flag is out. The driver's now slowing behind the iRacing.com pace car, which is working his way back out onto the racetrack. And Jukka Sovalainen will pick up the pace car as they work their way out at turn number 2. But for Diat, that was scary very early on, Marius.
Yeah, definitely, and most of the drivers came out of this clean and maybe with a little bit of damage, so Robin Muntang definitely got a big bit of that. But apart from that, just including Mark Molyneux from Club England, who had nothing to do but to wreck flat out into what's ahead of him. It was a lucky thing there that he didn't really spin into the back of the grid, because that could have been a lot worse.
Yep, and for the pace car, he's now bringing the cars through turn number 3 and 4. Going to ask Churchy, David, is it too early to gamble and take 2 tyres? Do you think anyone's going to come down pit road with just 2 laps scored complete? 3 laps scored complete?
No, everyone should stay where they are. it's too much of a risk to end up being at the back of the field with more potential wrecks going on. You want to stay up as front as much as possible. It's really unfortunate that wreck was caused by just a few people being a bit impatient and trying to make some drastic moves. We've got a few people probably putting some dummies in. No, we've got someone coming down pit road now.
Mark Mullen knew that would be with the damage suffered in that last accident. There's a Club Brazil car following in him as well.
Yeah, I had my camera on Gregor. I'm just want to see how well he's going to do in this. He seems to be doing all right. He managed to avoid that wreck. Okay.
Yep.
Gary Feekins also in the pits from UK&I, so not going to start for us so far.
From UK&I, it's a bad start by them. Cars coming down onto pit road all over. They might be doing a little bit of an alternative strategy here. Of course, it's a very long race. It's say 150 miles around the Texas Motor Speedway. If you can get yourself into a position where you can perhaps use an alternative strategy, then that might be your bet. Simon Phil, I haven't seen any damage to his race car, so he's back out onto the racetrack after making himself a pit stop here at Texas. Out front, however, to run through your top 10, it is Yuka Sovanainen from Alexia Loma, from Yeo Mantila, from Igor Kops, from Anderson Pace, from Alexander Abraham, Yoni Hagner, Petro Cotavara, and Marco Penton. They are your top 10. And Yuka Sovanainen, so he's working himself behind the iRacing.com pace car. The lights are still up on that. Very quickly. Sorry, very quickly. Yep. I'm going to bring down Joni Backman, club captain for Club Finland. He had a very scary moment there on lap number 1.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. 2 cars in front of me. There was somebody who clipped the apron. I think it was one of the Club Finland guys. Caused a huge checkup. I was trying to leave a gap to let my club mate to the front of me, and all of a sudden I had to check up, so I had to go to the outside line, and then I came back to start-finish line, and I thought I was too wide, and as I came to the flat section there, the spotter said 3 wide, and I had 2 DH guys right next to me, and there was a slight clip. I don't know what happened to either one of them. I thought I got damage. I went to the pits to check it out, but there was nothing, so dodged a bullet there, but yeah, that was scary.
Well, we're going to joke you back to your teammates. The lights are off from the pace car. Good luck for the second part of this race. Joni Backman, club president for Club Finland. Lights are out on the pace car, so we're going to go back to green flag racing with 5 laps scored complete here at the Texas Motor Speedway. So just 95 laps left to go, guys. Make sure you keep it clean on the racetrack. Pace car speed 60 miles an hour. We'll keep an eye out to see what happens on this restart. On the first start, we were able to get Mantila up into the 3rd position. It is Sovanainen from Aloma from Mantila, and then you have yourself Igor Kops representing Club Brazil in 4th, Anderson Pace in 5th representing Club Brazil. The first of the DH drivers is Alexander Abraham in the 6th position. Once again, the iRacing pace car going to make that turn down towards pit road, and as it does so, Yuka Sovanainen beginning to build up the pace ever so slowly. Now he goes back to green flag racing here at Texas Motor Speedway, and I tell you what, the finish drivers, it's all bunched up as they're coming down into turn number 1 once again, and it's going to be a long jam here as they work their way down into turn number 1. You've got yourself Campo Lewis there trying to make the pass from number 49 car of Petro Cotavara. He should complete that and sweep in front of him as they work their way down the back straightaway, but out front, just look how close the drivers are.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll realize what was going on at the first start here. Just taking it a bit more easy there, you guys. You got 94 laps ahead of you, so don't risk anything now. Just try to make it work and try to get back in the rhythm here. So the restart has been going fairly clean so far. A couple of positions swept at the front, but taking a look at that, the front is mainly blue with a slight drift of blue and yellow.
Yep, as they're working their way down the back straightaway once again on lap number 7 of 100. It is still out front. Yuka Sovanainen from Alexia Loma from Joni Mantila. So we've got ourselves, in fact, Mantila's fallen back, and he's now down into the 5th position. He's been freight trained by the 2 Brazil cars from Igor Kops and also Anderson Pace. So move those 2 Brazil drivers up into the top 4 and move Joni Mantila back down into the 5th position, David.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. There seems to be a lot of bumper and running going on here, which is interesting to see. As you go down into the corners, at the mid of the corner, the guys who are driving in there just give a little tap, and it seems to set them and run them wide. It's quite good to watch. We've just had one driver run into the wall in the start-finish straight, and that's made everyone check up. And you've got a big wreck.
And big wreck, yep.
Oh,
and it took out Joni Backman. It took out Joni Backman. We need to rewind and see lot has been going on there, but that's the big one.
Andy
Yeah,
Kirchtorf
that's
as
a big
well
one.
for UK&I involved, so that's another blow for UK&I. Gary Feekins is currently 3 laps down, 6 laps down, Mark Mullen 3 laps down. Now Andy Kirchtorf has got damage. What David said before about the UK&I avoiding the wrecks and going through it seems to be the complete opposite happening at the moment.
And
Yeah,
that
we
all
did.
started with the third on Dennis Kircher as he's working his way out of turn number 3 and 4. He got a little bit of a bump there from a UK&I, the 44 car of Jake Forrester. Got a bump, pushed him into the wall, and then as he was riding the wall, he's trying to come back down. Everyone was checking up behind him, though, going 3 wide. You had yourself then Yoni Backman getting spun out, and then it was all slowing down. You had the 56 car from Brazil there, just T-boning the finish car. And while that was all going on, you also had Andy Kerstoffer involved. Simon Field was involved in that. Benjamin Burmeister, I think he might have just got out of that without too much damage there. So a very lucky mistake there for Benjamin Burmeister. But second caution of the day, and this is kind of turning this race on its head, and a number of big casualties involved.
Yeah, some unfortunate people got caught up in that. Yanni was one of them. He was just minding his own business, and then Powell, he's in the catch fence. So he's not going to be too happy about that. But we'll see if the pit crew can get their sledgehammers out and knock it into shape.
Yep, and pit road, I believe, is open. Let's see whether or not anyone comes down pit road this time by, and it's looking as though no one is. So perhaps, yes, we do. We have Jon Jens and Florian Kirchhofer. They are down on pit road, going to get some service, as is Andy Kirchhofer, Benjamin Burmeister on pit road. Yoni Backman, of course, he's going to have to come down pit road. Pit road, a moderately busy place here, with some drivers electing to take 2 tyres by the look of it. So let's see what happens with Kirchhofer. He's actually back out onto the racetrack about now, and Burmeister getting himself some tyres. And I think all of these drivers that were involved had to check up for that wreck, and they had to take tyres there.
Yeah, because the screeching of the brakes definitely is flat spots there, so they wouldn't have been very good for, as you said, they go off pretty quickly as it is. So with the extra load they've had to have taken there from the steep braking, I think tyres probably is the best option for those drivers.
And whilst we're under caution, we would like to bring in to the GlacierTV booth the mastermind behind the World Cup for 2012, and everyone give a very nice round of applause to Mr. Mike Golloway. Welcome to the GlacierTV booth. And there we are, some claps. I can't clap, but I can do the best.
That may be overstating it a bit.
We're into, you know, the oval race. We've had the road race, and I'll tell you what, from your end, it must be great fun putting this together this year.
Oh, it's been an absolute blast. You know, when Tony announced they were discontinuing the event, I actually thought, oh, well, this is the perfect opportunity. And I got a hold of Tony and Sean over at iRacing, and they were open to the idea of letting the community run this thing. So I thought, well, let's give it a shot. And I sent out some PMs, and of course, Kat was the first one to respond. And from there, it's been 12 months of a lot of work, but mostly fun.
And, I mean, how has the World Cup evolved over those 12 months, especially looking forward to 2013? I mean, it's had higher participation than ever before, more clubs represented than ever before, and really, more than anything else, a huge fostering of community spirit from club to club.
Yeah, that was really the goal. I mean, we have three goals in my mind, and the first and foremost is to figure out who is the fastest club, and there's different ways to figure that out, and there's always arguments over how you do that. But that's our first goal: is who's the fastest club in the service, and the second thing is to foster, you know, community and get the clubs working together, and to get people passionate about this event. And I think we've really accomplished all of those, and obviously we'll accomplish the first one today. But we're going to keep tweaking it and hopefully make it better, but hopefully not very many changes for next year.
And I'm hoping that you're going to join us after broadcast as well. We've run through the club MVDs, I'm going to call them most valuable drivers, and also the Ironman Awards, but there's still 2 awards left to give out. The most valuable driver of the entire World Cup, and also club captain as well. So I believe you're joining us after the broadcast to announce those 2.
I'd be pleased to.
And of course, we'll allow you to talk to the captain of the race one as well. The lights are out on the pace car. Going to go back to green flag racing this time by with 13 laps scored complete. Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you from everyone here, not only at Glacier but from iRacing. Thank you for everything you and your team have done. And Marius, lights out on the pace car, back to green flag racing this time by, and It's kind of needs to settle down this race. We've seen this quite often in oval races. A lot of incidents earlier on, but I'm thinking at some point these drivers are going to get into a longer green flag run. They just need to try and sort it out a bit.
Yeah, I'm just anxious to see how this is going to turn out. I mean, we've had a couple of laps on the green now, and once again had a little bit of an unnecessary moment. I mean, these guys are just attacking way too hard for now. I mean, 100 laps race, 2 cautions already, and we're only lap 13. It seems like they're really heated up here, so we'll see how this restart will go. A couple of drivers still down pit road, a couple of cars still heavily damaged, not bringing the car down. And yeah, by the looks of it, the front is still pretty much safe. We've still got Lucas Arvola and Alexei Roma in the first row, Igor Kops in Anderson Pace in the second, Yuri Mantele and Joni Hagner in the third row. And we will go green this time by as the pace car is about to go down pit road and hands it over to Lucas Arvola in the first position, down the inside, to carry on the field again. We are green again. It is lap 14 of the iRacing World Cup finals here on the oval. And once again, we are down into turn 1.
Working away down in turn number 1 on lap number 14. You can serve the line and getting himself a good start at Logan, falling right back in behind. Igor Kops in the third position. I tell you what, Yuri Mantila looking down to the inside of the 18 cars. They work their way back down into turn number 3 once again. He's going to try and steal that position away. And I tell you what, Mantila's got to be careful because he might get brake train. Joni Hagner is right there in the picture as well as they work their way out of turn number 4. This is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th positions on the racetrack. Look out as they come down into turn number 1. We see there that Hagner is trying to get the position away. Now he might be able to get the run out of turn number 2 as they're working away down the back straightaway. And you see there, team working there with Mantila working down to the inside. And it's all happening out front as well. One down to the outside with Igor Kops to work away down to turn number 3. Action all over the racetrack right now, but this battle for the race lead down is just absolutely chaotic.
Yeah, I thought Kops was going to take a dive down the inside of the lane with that. It was a good start there for me. Two Finland drivers and that's Joni Hagner making his move on the Brazilian driver, and Yuri Mantero and Joni Hagner really have set out their stall, and I think the Brazilian driver there has dropped back a bit there following that little exchange.
Yeah, Anderson Pace on the outside line. It just looks as though those two came together, and Anderson Pace is going right down the field. Look at that. He's caught on the outside line there. The inside line is the faster way around the racetrack, and now Dark Karanki in the 74 car, he's going to move himself up a position there into 12, and that's the Brazilian driver from 4th all the way down into the 14th position. But look at Pace go back on the outside line. He can find himself a gap, and I think he's going to do so now. He's going to do the cut under there on none other than the 17th car on Gregor Hutu, as we're back into caution for the 3rd time here today. And that's Karofsky by the look of it, who caused the 3rd caution.
Yeah, they're just racing hard at the moment. They need to just settle down. I know it's the World Cup, country pride and everything, but just relax. It's a long way. You should be racing at like the last 25 laps.
And Marius, that 3rd caution, it's very stop-start for these drivers. These guys are not being able to get much momentum going right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what exactly happened. Andy Kirchtorte, having his car slightly damaged, just basically floors the brakes there on the main straight, losing the car a little bit, but definitely no reason to completely stomp on the brakes, taking out Marcelo Massa completely here and causing the 3rd caution, and that is yeah, just horrific to explain, really.
Yep, and so pit road will be open, we believe, that this time by, and I expect pit road now to be a very busy place, working ourselves on lap number 18 of 100. And it's that kind of stage of this race now, David, that if these drivers are going to have to make a pit stop, if they get caught out later on, it's going to be hugely difficult for them. As the pit road is open and no one's going in. I tell you what, Jan Paul and Niels there, I think he almost came in there, and the way the cones work, I think he might just have got away with that, but he might have got caught out there. That was the 69 car there, Jean-Paul Nealis, as all these cars were thinking about going in, and they all dummied each other. Just the one car comes in, that is Anderson Pace. He must have some damage to his race car, or he's trying to get himself some fresh tyres.
There's quite a lot come down the further back wheel. There's about 10 cars, I reckon, in the pit lane.
Yeah.
If you're up front, you've got to take that gamble and see if there's going to be any more cautions later on, because it's such a tough strategy. Do you want to come in and get fuel and end up being dropped down? The top 10 will follow each other, what anyone else does.
So to run through your top 10 then with about 19 laps scored complete at the line, it is Yo Mantila, sorry, I'll take that back, Yuka Sovalainen leading the way with Aleski Loma in second, Igor Kops in third, Yo Mantila in fourth, Yoni Hagner in fifth, Jon Paul Nielis up into the sixth position, that helped Club DH, Petru Kotavara in seventh, Alexandra Abraham in eighth, Martin Tek in ninth, and Marco Pentinen rounding out your top 10. The scores as it stands combined, it is now UK and I down into the fourth position, Club Brazil up into third, 270 points, Club DH 368 points, and Club Finland 449 points at the moment. However, Marius, that can still all change because we haven't even had the top runners coming towards pit road yet.
Yeah, and a couple of drivers from sort of halfway down the field have already brought the car home for the second time here, and they haven't even had any damage, so it might even be due to just taking 2 tires maybe now. And they of course know that the drivers ahead can't stay out forever, so even if we go yellow every 5th lap or so, they might need to bring the car down pit road the next time or the second next time by, and then it might be the upper hand for these drivers who just go in every time, try to take tires. I mean, you can't really lose much because the guys behind you are obviously also going in, and then see where it takes you. And if you're in the middle pack here, it might just be the right decision.
For Club Finland, however, leading the way up front, and we thought that Club DH was going to be like that. We thought they were going to be the ones qualifying out front and leading the way. Finland's almost surprised us here. I mean, they were only third out of 4 clubs on the oval side of things, but it's kind of, you know, for Finland, it's all in their favour right now until we get to pit stops at least.
Yeah, currently they've got 4 drivers in the top 5. Finland really are setting out their stall. I thought for one that DH maybe would try and close the gap up a bit in this race, but it looks like Finland are going to stretch it even further so far. Driven really well and dominating the time, so it's very, very good driving so far from Club Finland, but as you said before, Will, we're far from finished yet.
Are far from finished. Do not forget, you can keep in contact with us all race long. Use the hashtag iRacing World Cup. Lights are off on the pace car once again. A couple of drivers just beating the pace car out trying to get some repairs to the race car. You had Mark Molyneux and Yoni Backman, whose car pointing in all sorts of wrong directions, just trying to turn laps right now. Drivers out of the race, Gary Firkin, he's just 15 laps down. Andrea Pero is scored as 11 laps down. Mark Molyneux 9 laps down. And then we've got a couple of drivers 1 and 2 laps down. Yoni Backman, here Sapala and Andy Kosov are all 1 lap down. And then you've got yourself Robin Murdank, who scored 2 laps down at present. The pace car working his way down the back straight away. Going to have 21 laps out of 100 scored complete at the line. Yuka Sovalainen has led every single lap of the race since the drop of the green flag here. And then we had Aleski Loma in second, Igor Kops in third, Geo Mantila in fourth, and Yoni Hagner rounding out your top 5. We're going to give you guys a little bit of a treat on this restart. We're going to go on board perhaps the fastest sim racer in the world right now on the road, turning left and only turning left. Mr. Gregor Hutu in the 17 car. Prepare for a surprise. We're going to go on board of him. He's currently riding the 11th position in that 17 car as the pace car works his way down towards pit road. We're going to get on board with Gregor Hutu. Pace car makes that turn down towards pit road. Yuka Sovalainen bringing up the pace once again. Green flag back in the air, and we're racing one more time here at Texas Motor Speedway. I tell you what, the finish driver was a little bit slow off the line there, and it's all going to be bunched up as they go looking down to the inside. Wasn't quite close enough, and I tell you what, Mantilla is able to just get past him. They're banging wheels for Douglas there, and Petru Kotavara is battling for the 6th and 7th position. It's Nilis down going to look down to the inside. They're almost 3 wide ahead of him as they work their way down into turn 3. Kopp in the 4th position, and then heavily from Yoni Hagner, and he's going to get a bit of a bump there from the DX driver as they're 2 wide and working their way down the front straight away once again. Kotavara on the outside line, Hagner on the inside line, and then they've got themselves Nilis as well working down on the inside. They are 2 wide throughout this field here, and they're still pretty scary. These drivers are still not settling it down.
Yeah, and I hope they leave each other at least a little bit of more room than they did before, and just keep it green for a couple of laps to see where this is going, really. Just leave each other room right now. There's a lot of race going ahead. 1/4 done right now, and there's a lot ahead.
Kotavara has been left to dry, and 2 DH drivers have found their way past to 19 of Alexandra Abraham and Martin Tiep at 29. So Kotavara has lost 2 places there just beyond that high line. Now he's just going to get back into the inside line in front of his teammate Gregor Hutu.
Yeah, and we saw that over 100 pace earlier on. If you get hang out on the outside line, Dave, it's a bit like IndyCar. The inside line works better than anywhere else. On the outside line, you just get freight train. There's no way that he can find a gap to get back into line. However, Diach on the charge here as Jean-Paul Neal is looking down to the inside of Joni Hagner to come down into turn 1. And this is getting very scary to watch, David.
Yeah, they're definitely pushing really hard, but they have seemed to have settled down a little bit, so hopefully we can get some nice green flag running and some clean racing going on.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, these drivers are putting a lot of effort into this car, as now Neal's down to the inside. He's going to claim 5th position there, overtaking Joni Hagner, and look at this, he's going to get freight train if he's not careful, because Hagner there, he just managed to slot in ahead of Alexander Haycom. A little bit too close to call there for Joni Hagner. You see what's going to happen there, always turning Joni Hagner into been battling very closely in the racetrack. Now Abram loses momentum, and his teammate Martin Flem's going to go past, and this is a battle for the 7th lane position on the racetrack. 10th down to the inside, pass complete there, but we have currently a Finnish driver out front. That is over the line at Aloma in 2nd, Kops in 3rd, Nealis in 4th, Mantila in 5th, and it is all about right now Club Finland in front, but in 3rd, Kops in 5th, Diaz in 4th position, and also in 7th and welcome 10th. We've got those 3 clubs out front. Club UK and I right now, Marius, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking again, leave yourself room, and of course the guys around you as well. Just don't put it so close to the grass, put it so close to the other drivers, because once again between Abraham and Hagner, that's been just awfully close there. And one wrong move, we've seen it before, just a little tap there is enough to put you sideways and cause a caution. And we're just going green for a couple of laps now, and there's actually something to talk about. And I think the pace car so far led the most laps here.
Yeah, oh, pass! That's the only factor on the outside line. And that car, I don't know what's happening there, but he's all the way on the outside line. Cars swarming to avoid him. That's the 46 car there of Joni Backman, just trying to turn some laps, but almost causing catastrophe right there. Igor Kops looking very close in that 3rd position though, David.
He should park that.
Caution out, caution out.
Yeah, that's crabbing to hell, so anyway. But yeah, caution's out. I don't know, was that for debris to make things interesting?
Well, this is NASCAR debris caution. We're having a look to see what happened there on the racetrack. We'll get confirmation as soon as possible. We believe it might have been the 33 car, but something was going on the racetrack which brought the caution out here at Texas Motor Speedway, the 4th caution of the day. And I don't know, cars swarming all over the place and trying to figure out exactly who was involved in that there. Anyone?
Definitely, they've got Benjamin Burmeister involved there, as well as a couple of other drivers. I think a Brazilian driver has been involved, just trying to figure out.
Got it.
That was.
I've got it. It was down in turn number 3, Benjamin Burmeister in the 33 car, working himself. He got a little bit of a tap there from the Brazil driver of Anderson Paes. That spun him around.
Pit in time.
And then we had another driver, DH driver there, catching him as well. Pit road is open, and everyone coming down this time by with 29 laps scored complete at the line. You can over the line and bringing the cars in, and this is going to be incredibly intriguing to see who comes out on top. The cars who took tyres earlier on, they all had to take a little bit less fuel as well. Everyone's going to top that gas tank all the way up, but pit road open. Going to keep an eye on pit road exit. The 23 car was the first one in. He's getting himself tyres, topping up with race gas. Everyone taking tyres. First on the right hand side, now on the left. You see the pit crews there working on the car. The 23 car is going to get out in front. I tell you what, look at this, Diaz. Look at this, they're going to storm through there. And I think that one of them might just have got himself up into 2nd place. It was very close. They were running 3 wide as they came out of pit road, but it was very close there. And it looks as though that Brazil might have got themselves up a position or 2 as well. And the 00 car looking very slow there of Yuri Mantila.
Also, Alexia Loma has lost a couple of positions, I think, as well. I saw one of Diach's drivers have a quick pit stop and go past in there as well. So Diach, just before the caution, we saw them starting to, there's 2 or 3 of them together trying to train their way through the field, and it looks like they're going a bit further up as well through the pit stop. So Diach are definitely starting to come through.
Diach are on the move. We'll get confirmation of the running order as they come past the start-finish line, working under our 4th caution of the day here at Texas Motor Speedway, as Robin Murdoch now coming onto pit road. He was scored 1 lap down. However, we have one driver who went through pit road by the look of it. That was Jorn Jens. He's managed to get out in front. Perhaps might have just taken 2 tyres, but he's classically scored as the leader. And then Rafael Dominili staying out as well by the look of it. In 3rd place is Jukas Overleiden. In 4th is Dirk Klinski. Alexia Loma down into 5th. Igor Kops in 6th. And this is all changed now. This is going to make things incredibly interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying ahead of the race. It is 100 laps, and it can just change so quickly here. And we remember this is already the 4th caution, I think. 3rd, 4th caution, I already lost track of time. However, we are once again under yellow here. The pace car still got the lights on, so we will do one more lap behind the Ford Mustang pace car here. And a couple of mix-ups in the middle of the pack, but especially at the front of the pack, as Jorn Jens stood out, didn't go to pits. And if we remember correctly, Jorn Jens was one of the guys only taking the tires with all of his pit stops, trying to follow in the back of the pack, and when this one came out now, he just stood out.
We're going to try and get ourselves a replay of what happened to Benjamin Burmeister. That was working its way down, say, on lap number 27 in the 33 car there. So we're going to get ourselves a replay of that. And in the meanwhile, we're going to bring down one more time our in-race reporter, Mr. Yoni Backman. And Yoni, it's all gone wrong for you recently.
Yeah, just unfortunate to be part of that flying car in the main straightaway, which basically ruined my car. I still have like quite a few minutes of optional repairs to do, but luckily the car is still rolling. So in case of a wreck from other club representatives of other clubs, I still have a chance to pick up any loose points they might offer.
But you saw that car was running very slowly on the outside line. I mean, keeping it out the wall and thankfully out of the way of everyone else. But that car driving very badly right now, it looks.
Yeah, it's somewhat weird because first time my wheel is like 100 degrees in pointing to the right, and the next thing I know I have a wheel pointing 100 degrees to the left after the next pit stop. So it's basically a lottery of what my pit crew decides to do with it. But before I last entered the pits, the wheel was straight, and now it's again 100 degrees to the left. So not the easiest race in the world.
Going to let you go back to your teammates. Lights out on the pace car. Jorn Jens going to bring the field back to Green Flag Racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. 32 laps, all complete at the line. Pace car going to make that turn down towards pit road. This is where things are going to get very interesting. And to tell you what, you've got yourself a DH driver in 3rd position. They're going to get the jump as they get Green Flag back out into the air. And look at this, into 2nd position. Dirk Klinski now in the 74 car, now riding in the 2nd position. Overliner in 3rd is going to also be trumped there by Igor Kops to work the way out. And I tell you what, Igor Kops is going back out already by the look of it.
Yeah, and that, I don't know what Tony Backman did there, but that looked very strange. I can't really say what that is. That just looks like intentional. I'm really speechless. What has been going on there?
I don't know, but it's just coming to the green flag there. And back to the car, we talked about how he had issues. That car just went into the wall, trying to avoid, by the look of it, cars were checking up ahead of him. And he had Andy Kerstoffer also with damaged car, and then Royal Servia. They were very slow back to the green flag, and it looks like backwards car just started to the right-hand side into the wall, caution back out once again. And Jorn Jens now leading the way from Dirk Klinski in the 2nd position. And Marius Diaz now 1 and 2 in the race.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to get my head around what happened to Yoni there. He's obviously got a car severely damaged, so I still have the question why he's still going with that. I mean, he's over 10 seconds off pace, and people are already complaining that your car is so total that you shouldn't be continuing like that. And I'm exactly in that opinion, because he is completely trapped walking around this track, and on the restart just completely loses. They bins it in the wall and causes the caution, and I can't just find an explanation for that, honestly.
Meanwhile, the way it is, at 3rd position is Jukas Overlide and Aleski Loma in 4th, and your Kops rounding out your top 5. But David, we had a moment there where we were getting ourselves some nice green flag racing. All of a sudden, we're back to this stop-startness, and oval racing can be messy at times, but this messy might not be the word.
Frustrating, I think, is probably the best way to describe this race at the moment. Hopefully, once we get this yellow flag out of the way, we can get some green flag runs going in. I did notice that the DH guys, they set it up quite nicely and to try and take the front two positions, and got a real good jump on the finish guys, and they have no answer for it because all they need to do is a 3-second countdown for the start, and they're always going to jump them.
And that's an important point as well. I mean, we've been on both the receiving and the giving end of that, you know, the team countdowns and all that sort of stuff. Especially on oval racing, you can gain some positions there, and for Kalinske, he was able to time that restart perfectly with Bjorn Jens, and perhaps that Jens might have stayed out just to help his teammate out there. Let's see whether that Jens comes down onto pit road. No, he doesn't, so Jens does stay out on the racetrack there in the 11 car, but it's very intriguing to see the way the tactics are working in this race now, Dan.
Yeah, tactics are working now, as you said before, the DH drivers. So feed them together, and with you got the John Paul and the Heath car in position 6 at the moment, and Martin Temp in P7. It'd be interesting to see if at the start, if they can sort it out as a restart again, because they've got potentially they've got the Brazilian car and the 2 finish ones between them and their DH the DH teammates. So it'd be interesting to see if they can catch up to the DH. If that's the case, there'll be 4 DH cars top 5, and at the moment there's 4 in the top 7. So from before Finland having the majority of the cars, it seems DH are starting to overload them a bit again.
And the points as they stood just a moment ago, it looks like DH is starting to close down Club Finland, and in the 4th position is still Club UK&I, in 3rd Brazil, in 2nd DH, and 1st Finland. And I have to say now, Marius, with Jorn Jens leading the way and Kalinske in 2nd, the DH charge is starting to come alive.
Yeah, by the looks of it, if Joni continues like that, I wouldn't be surprised if we have more cautions, because that car is still absolutely totaled, and I'm not really sure that he's ever going to get that repaired in time. These are the moments where I think it should best be hosted in an official race, where iRating and safety rating is in effect, so the drivers wouldn't risk it to the utter edge here, because by the looks of that, that car is definitely too unstable, too unsafe to continue racing.
So still working our way under caution here at Texas Motor Speedway. Light out on the pace car. You see a car just being able to jump there ahead. He's going to get himself back onto that. Florian Kirchhoffer there in the 37 car, getting some repairs to his DH racing machine. However, the top 10 as it stands: Jorn Jens in 1st, Dirk Kalinske in 2nd, Jukka Soberlainen in 3rd, Alexia Loma in 4th, Igor Kops in 5th, Jan Paul Nilas in the 6th position, Mark 10th in 7th, Anderson Pias in 8th, Yang Montila in 9th, and Alexander Abraham rounding out your top 10. Then Petru Kotovara, Gregor Huti, Yoni Hagner, Jake Forrester, Blake Tannen, other drivers rounding out your top 15 here. We've just got past 1/3 distance here, with 13 minutes scored complete of the race as well. And the way it is Jorn Jens right now has to hope that he times his start perfectly with Kalinske, so that Kalinske can then just pull straight down to the inside line, because we have seen that 2nd place can be a bit of a sticking duck, and in the 3rd line in 3rd position and Alexia Loma in 4th, they are going to have a good restart as well to protect from the Brazil driver of Igor Kops, who's currently sat in the 5th position on the inside line. Pace car once again making that turn down towards pit road. We are once again back to green flag racing here. The DH, look at the DH driver on the outside there. He's going to split them 3 wide, so work the way down into turn 1. He's got one of them. He's going to perhaps get both of them there as well. And that was a beautiful crossing there by the DH drivers. Aloma on the outside line is the sitting duck here. And look at the DH drivers go. Niels now looking down to the outside, but Soberlainen hasn't had the last of this. He's going to try and work around the outside. Look at this, down into turn number 3 and 4. He might just get him on the outside line. He's going to get the momentum as they work their way down the front straightaway. This is where teamwork could really come into play. Soberlainen running in the 2nd position at the line. He's got Kalinske on the inside to work away back down into turn 1 once again. But look, the start there by the DH absolutely sublime. And now Cox is going to go past, and you see also that Temps is going to go past as well. So riding back into the 5th position, and now going to be passed by Nias as well. He's going to have to find a way of getting back into Michael. Look at this, Edson Pace. He's going to come into the picture as well, and this is very, it's just turned on its head there for Club Finland, David.
Yeah, this is an easy one where it's just turn around and like this. Yeah, Finland needs to get themselves back, regroup and put on the attack. But as you can see now, you got all the Dutch guys up, the DH guys up
what?
Just going for it. They're even starting to pull away. So
they are.
Yeah.
And by now, I mean, sorry,
Caution.
but this is getting a little bit ridiculous, because every little contact they make right now is causing a caution, and as once again Raul Saravia and a fellow Brazil member there just basically driving in. I mean, they're just hitting each other on the straight. Pedro Carvalho and Raul Saravia. I mean, that's just purely unnecessary, and once again, causing a caution by that is very close in my eyes to being intentional, and it just takes away the fun of racing. I mean, if we go 5 laps on the green and then it goes directly into a caution for something like this, excuse me for sounding so fed up, but this is getting a little bit ridiculous.
Under caution once again here at the Texas Motor Speedway, and it's been very stop-start here, and the 2 Brazil drivers are working their way out of turn number 3 and 4, and it looks as though he just caught him in the wrong way there. And Serbia, I don't know, it's like you still can't how so often in NASCAR, if you're going to line up these cars up, you have to do it perfectly. And he came up to the front straightaway, and I think he just turned left before his teammate did. I thought they were going to try and do a bit of bump drafting down the front straightaway. And Serbia in the 4 car there, just getting that car turned around, it's spun down pit road and onto the grass and then back out onto the racetrack. I don't think anyone else was involved, indeed no they weren't. So the pace car was just back out onto the racetrack once again. And then it's pit road is open. A number of drivers coming down onto pit road now, and this is going to be a kind of do or die moment for a couple of these clubs, because they're going to have to try and regroup, especially Club Finland.
And Club Finland are in the pits. Savolainen and Aloma have come into the pits, and I was saying before the restart about DH maybe trying to pull some tactics to get those 2 drivers who were further back into contention. That's exactly what happened with the Jean-Paul Nias coming up to 3rd place at one point, just through that restart he did, and the 2 Finland drivers, Aloma and Savolainen, coming out the pits now. So Finland maybe trying to throw a bit of a joker by bringing their leading guys in for a pit stop to see if new rubber is going to help them catch the DH guys again.
Yep, and of course they'll look to the rear of the field, so they're going to have to be very careful if there's incidents ahead of them. But Savolainen, of course, he was held on that outside line as the Germans ahead of them. The DH drivers, so of course there are 3 clubs in DH, the DH drivers were able to get momentum. But right now, Marius, it looks as though that DH is starting to take control of this race. It's just now how strategy will develop over these next couple of laps.
Yeah, but we may not forget a couple of the drivers as well from Finland, together with Joni Beckman, but also the edge drivers down pit row, Benjamin Burmeister, Dennis Hirschka, Florian Kirchhofer, all got their cars severely damaged trying to repair it. Of course, they are getting a lot of possibilities here under the caution. But once again, well, I'd just like to see these guys fight for it on the track. I mean, Texas, such a good track for these cars, really, and all these drivers put so much work into this. I mean, there's nothing more to ask than to the drivers just need to fight this on the track. And I mean, if 2 Brazilians hit each other and cause a caution by that, I'm sorry for sounding skeptical for that, but this is just taking away the fun.
And of course, we've got a 43 lap score complete at the line. I do completely agree with you that you know it's more interesting seeing things happen on the track rather than on pit road. The lights are still on the iRacing.com pace car, so we're going to go back to green flag racing perhaps in a couple of laps time. Don't forget, keep in contact with us on Twitter. Use the hashtag iRacing World Cup. Talk to us on GlacierTV as well, facebook.com/GlacierTV. Coming up this Monday, we're going to have ourselves the GlacierTV first anniversary race. Can you imagine? It was just 1 year ago that GlacierTV hit the airwaves for the first time. We'll be bringing you a race in the same format that we normally have for Proto Wise. However, we're just extending it a little bit. It's the second race, and that will be at Sebring International Raceway in the McLaren MP412C GT3 car. Start time 8 PM GMT. Check us out for that. That will be on Channel 2 of GlacierTV this coming Monday. We'll keep an eye out on pace cars to see whether it comes down towards pit road this next time by. We're waiting for those lights to go out. Will they go out as we come past the start-finish line? We're hoping so. And David, at some point we will get ourselves in racing, I promise.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the lap times. They all seem pretty good at the moment, but the DH guys are definitely faster. So I think after this restart, if we can get a long green flag run, they're going to be pulling out, and then it's up to Finland to sort out their mess.
Yeah, and it's all kind of undone for Finland these last couple of laps, Dan, and that all started with the perfect restart by Club DH.
Yeah, DH's tactics from the restart certainly helped them, and Finland have dropped right down. The first Finnish driver we have is the 8th place car, I believe, of Jari Mantila, and then Gregor Hutsu in 9th place, and other than that, it's a Brazil and DH lockout. It was so different earlier in the race. It was Finland who took all the top places and DH struggling, but we said then the race was far from over, and that's just proven to be the case with Finland dropping back with their first two drivers now 8th and 9th. So DH at the moment look like to be driving the seat for this oval race as we're about to go green again, I think.
Yep, and the way it is, the point standing, GKNI in 4th, in 3rd, Brazil, DH in 3rd, but the gap now close to 5 points over Club Finland in the battle for the World Cup Championship. Pace car going to make that turn down towards pit road once again. Here we go. It's going to be Kalinski taking the field back to green flag racing. Jorn Jens in 2nd position. Igor Kops in 3rd. Martin Temps in 3rd and 4th. And look at this once again. The DH drivers getting themselves a perfect start. And Jorn Jens and Martin Temps working their way down into turn 1. Igor Kops having nothing of it, however. He's still trying to work themselves out as well the way out.
There's a spin.
Number 2.
And guys, just please, I mean, for once he didn't cause a caution by that, but once again in the rear of the pack, and we can't even complete one more lap on the green here.
Aloma was involved in that one, I believe.
Hagner's involved in it as well. Jake Forrester is involved in that. Aleski Aloma's car is stuck on the inside retaining wall. Let's see whether he can get that car out. There's not too much damage there to Aloma's car, just something on the rear. Let's see if he's got any suspension damage. However, caution once again, and it's getting to the point right now that these drivers, I think, just need to chill out a little bit, David.
Yeah, they do. It's like if I could go on the team speaks of all these guys now, I'd just be like, relax, because you guys need to just race this out on track on the last 20 laps and make it exciting, because at the moment cautions are not fun. They make for a sad panda.
They do. Things are working not the way anyone thought it was going to be. I mean, we expected there to be a lot of cautions. You said this before the race went green. However, it's not going the way that anyone would have wanted it to do. And a number of Finnish drivers involved in that one, Marius.
Yeah, a lot of Finnish drivers involved, and it's just, once again, I said this a couple of moments ago, I'd just much rather have this fight on the track. I mean, I'm still standing for my club here, and it's just a sad thing to see really how the drivers are taken out by this, because it just goes on and on and on. And Aleksi Loma has been a brilliant performance from him so far, together with Jukka Savola. He's been leading the first couple of laps, and being caught up in something like that is just, yeah, it's a sad thing really. I mean, taking this out on the track, losing on the track, winning on the track, always be the first person to congratulate a well-deserved winner. But with this, it's just going to be turning out into absolute mayhem.
We're going to pit road to be this time flying. We're going to see a lot of drivers have to come down on towards pit road. In fact, Jorn Jens and Kalinski taking a very inside line there. Perhaps they're trying to work a strategy where they can get to the end on just one more tank of fuel. So we expect pit road to be a very busy place this time by. Kalinski still leading away from Jorn Jens. In 3rd position, Igor Kops. In 4th, Jan Paul. Nicholas in 5th, Martin Temps. And then Simon Field from nowhere for Club UKNI getting himself up into the 6th position. In 7th, Jari Mantila. In 8th, Jukka Savola. In 9th, will be Petr Kosovar and Marco Penttinen rounding out your top 10. And that caution really did shake things up. And we're having a look at the combined points. UKNI 266 points. Club DH 402. Club Finland is now down into 2nd with 399 points. So it's all changed there. Brazil with 265 points. So very close there between the 4 clubs involved in 2 separate battles. Pit road, we believe, is open, but no one really taking that journey down towards pit road this time by. In fact, we get one driver, in fact, doing that, and that is Mark Molyneux coming down towards pit road, and cars behind then going to start swarming in with Hale Sapala and Stevens coming down on towards pit road. Let's see who else does. About a handful of drivers there, Dan.
Yeah, also that last caution, we were lucky it didn't come out earlier. The number 18, the Brazil car of Anderson Pace, did very well on the exit of turn 2. He took a hefty thump from behind from one of the DH drivers. They were able to hold on to it. So that the first 2 corners even of that restart, they were at it already. Far too aggressive for this stage of the race, and it was well held by Anderson Pace there.
So having a look at this on pit road, they're coming back out onto the racetrack, and this is going to make things even more interesting in this race. You've got Yoni Backman getting some repairs to his race car, Benjamin Burmeister, Mark Molyneux, Alex Guillermo bringing his car down onto pit road and out of pit road as well. In fact, now he's coming down into his pit box, and he's probably just overshot. It's perfect pit entry actually for Loma, but he's got some damage to his race car. The rumour has it he's not a very happy bunny right now. Out front, however, we've still got ourselves Kaminsky from Bjorn Jens, and the DX drivers are starting to come into their own, Dan.
Yeah, they are indeed. We're going to see what happens. I don't know how many laps we've got left. It's not too many, I don't think. With one caution, I think the pace car has probably led the most laps in this race as we now come to start the 49th lap, so nearly at the half distance mark now. And I'm still far from over this race. As we've seen, it doesn't take very long for a club to take descendancy, but I think that last wreck, taking out a few of the good Finland guys, I think that's going to prove pretty costly.
Yep, and a little bit of an argument we believe that might be going on with the Diaz drivers. It's going to be very interesting. But as I say, the last time that we got confirmation, it was Brazil with 265 points. They're in 4th. UK and I 266 points. They are in 3rd. Finland 399 points. They are in 2nd. And Diaz 402 points. They are currently in the 1st position. The pace lights are off on the pace car once again. Going to go back to green flag racing this time by David. We're going to get some green flag laps. Promise me.
Oh, I can't, mate. If I promise you, I'll put commentator's curse on it. So I don't think I'm in green flag runs, and then maybe the opposite might happen.
Okay, so the pace car working way down into turn number 3 and 4 once again here at the Texas Motor Speedway. 49 laps are going to be scored complete at the line. Kalinsky from Bjorn Jens, from Igor Kops, from Jan Paul Dealers. Of course, we've seen the now going to be famous Diaz restart. And they almost went 3 wide there on that last restart. They got to time it perfectly because last time Igor Kops was knowing what was going on and he was able to restart perfectly. Green flag back out into the air now. And you see Kops there. This time he's going to be swarmed over by Neelis as they work their way down into turn number 1. He's going to be clear, almost there. And now in fact he is going to be clear and he's going to get himself down Germany. Diaz 1, 2, 3. You've got a DX driver in 5th position as well. Diamantino working his way into the 6th position, being the car time in field. And here comes Petru Cotabara as well, as they work their way down the back straight once again here. It's going to be 50 laps scored complete at the line, so halfway distance. Cotabara down to the inside on the 26 car time in field, holding on for dear life. You've got yourself a freight train coming. Lucas Overline and trying to gain a position as well. It's so close out front as well in the battle for the top 4 position. John Pondinas there, able to take the pass on Bjorn Jens, and Igor Kops is going to go right there with them.
Yeah, this is incredible racing. This is how we want to see it battled out on the track, side by side. A little bit of bumping, but nothing too aggressive. The DH guys have now got it sort of. I'm just watching Blake Townsend having a nice battle for the 12th position. He seems to be our top running UK guy at the moment, so he's doing us proud. Go Blake.
That's the message there from Mr. David Ward. However, out front it is still Kalinsky leading the way. He's got Neelis in the 2nd position, Igor Kops into the 3rd spot. He's aiming to get himself past Bjorn Jens. Running out your top 5 the Finnish drivers. Some of them are coming on the charge now. Petru Cotabara in 7th and here Mantila in the 6th position. They are closing up to the rear of Martin Taint now in this battle on the racetrack. Simon Fielder getting passed by Marco Penton. So the Finnish drivers, they've got 4 of them in line. And you've got 5 of the DX drivers out front as well. It's highly intriguing seeing what's happening. Gregor Hutu looking so he's going to try and set up Blake Town for a pass to work the way down into turn number 3. Once again, ahead of them, you've got yourself Simon Field and Bruno Norpara. They are battling for position on the racetrack. This is what it's about for 10th and 11th spot. But look at this, it's down to Martina there, trying to make the pass. He will actually get past one of them. Look at the way that we can get the inside line. The 11th car there of Bjorn Jens falling back once again, and he needs to careful because here comes the Finnish freight train. Got to borrow down to the inside, and we've seen this, Marius, all race long. You get held up on the outside line, you're going to lose yourself an absolute ton of position.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised about how clean this is so far. Oh my god. And once the commentator discusses, I shouldn't be talking about how clean the race is. But David has been talking about this. A little bit of scrubbing, a little bit of bump here. And, as Petri Kotovar hits the apron and sends Johan Jens into the wall. A bit unlucky there for Petri Kotovar, clipping the apron and then sending the DH driver into the wall. But I was just about to say that, and now we've got cars everywhere into the wall. Blake Townend slightly into the wall out of turn 2. And it just looks like they've almost got each other together now, trying to keep it clean, keep it sort of a little bit aggressive, but not just sending each other in the wall every lap. But it's I hope it's not going back to that.
Yeah, Johan Jens falling down into the 11th position on the racetrack, getting passed there by Simon Field. And I have to say that Gregor Hutu lost out a little bit there, and he is now behind in the top spot. We saw him with back to Blake Townend earlier on. Hutu needs to get a bit of a move on. This is the guy who we call one of the fastest sim racers on the road course. He's struggling a little bit there. It's down to the inside goes Johan Jens now, trying to make a move on Simon Field, and also he's going to get 2 in a row. He's going to try and pass the 32 car. That's the 32 car of Bruno Mahona there as they come out of turn number 2. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway there. And you see Simon Field is going to freight train past him as well. And look at this, here comes Mr. Gregor Hutu. Is he going to try and go down to the inside as well? And it's going to chop him off just a little bit there. And then, in fact, Mahona is going to just get himself back into line. But you can see there's very good racing as the Finnish drivers now. They're sorting out between them. You can turn line and going past. I believe that's Petri Kotovar. He's going to lead the Finnish charge, but out front, you've got yourself a bit of a put away here. Kolinsky, Tejas, Koch, Tent and Martina, they have got themselves now a 5-car breakaway in this battle for the race lead, and you've got yourself three DH drivers. You've got yourself 1 Brazil driver and 1 Finnish driver as they're working away to complete lap number 58 of 100.
And Blake Townend's round is on a collision with the number 4 Raul Sevilla. He's turned Blake Townend round, and he's on the grass, and he's been hit again by the 78 car. It's Raphael Donielli, so Blake Townend in trouble.
Yeah, Hutu out. We saw a DH driver doing pirouettes there as well, and that was coming out of turn number 3 and 4. And Hutu there flipping the side of Alexander Abraham as they were working away down towards the start finish line. And you had JC Gabrega involved in that as well. It looks like Yoni Hagner was just involved in that as well. He got his car sideways. He might have got away without too much damage. There was a Brazil car who just went straight over the grass there trying to avoid that wreck. Undercourse once again, pace car back out onto the racetrack. And this, however, is going to be the most important moment of the race because we're now into that pit stop window, and these drivers are going to have to make a pit stop for their club lives.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, sorry Dan, just trying to take a look at what has happened, what has caused the caution. Actually, a lot of things going on the track simultaneously. There's once been Gregor Hutu trying to follow Bruno Noronha, and he's just not realized that Alexander Abraham is on his inside, so he turns down, hits Abraham, and takes both of them out of the race, as well as I think he hit Joni Hagner, and totally independent from that, Blake Townend has put the car into the wall after being hit from Brazilian Raul Sarabia, and simultaneously, just a few meters apart, but no influence between these two incidents. Of course, both of them together causing the, I think, 6th caution right now, but I can count on one hand really how much laps we had on green right now.
I think we had ourselves 2 hands laps we went on green there. But shush. As they say, pit road is going to be open this time by everyone coming in, and this is going to have to be a very good stop by all these drivers. Kalinsky leading the field here with Nilas in 2nd, Igor Kops in 3rd, Martin Temps in 4th, Johan Mantila rounding out your top 5, Soverline and right behind him. These cars are going to have to be very careful when they come into this narrow pit road. They're all looking for their pit box there. You can see the hangers when they know they're coming in. They're going to get that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 call as Petri Kotovar now into his pit box. All the drivers ahead of him coming on towards pit road. And this is going to be a critical moment of not only the race, but the entire World Cup here as well. As cars on pit road. Let's see who makes it out first. But this time by, it's going to be very close from these drivers. And Mantila looking as though he's going to get out ahead. And then Soverlainen, Kotovara and Penttinen. And the DX drivers attempt to kneel us there. A slow pit stop. And it's changed once again, guys.
Yeah, that last run of Finland start to move up the pack, and I think maybe they've decided to go for 2 tyres instead of 4 to gain track position. So Finland maybe trying to get a bit of a tactical edge over DH, but on that last run, they were starting to steadily move up the field though as well.
And of course, let's not forget that some of these drivers stayed out earlier on. So when you consider how much fuel they had to put into the race car, the DH drivers might have been on the back foot, but this race has turned itself on its head now, once again, David.
Yeah, this is just madness. I mean, like, the thing is now is we've got 40 odd laps to go. So anything can happen again. Are we going to get any more any more cautions coming out? It's not the race that I wanted to watch, but oh well.
It's not. We're going to have ourselves about 37 laps left to go in this race. It has unfortunately been very stop-start here, which has been hugely disappointing to all of our viewers. We don't control what happens on the racetrack, so please complain to your favourite driver, or your least favourite driver, as it's going to be now at the conclusion of this race. But as they come past the start-finish line, Jerry Mantilla is going to bring the field back to green flag racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Yuka Tovalainen in second, Petr Kotovara in third, Marco Penton in fourth, and then Jean-Paul Niels in fifth, Martin Tempestev in sixth, Igor Kops in 7th, Dirk Kolinsky in 8th, a very bad pit stop there for the 74 car, Bruno Mohura in 9th, and Andrew Payas rounding out your top 10. And we have a word that Marius is just talking to his club mates at the moment, so he'll be back in a moment. But Dan, Marius is back. Marius, any update on the DH pit situation there?
No update on the situation, just checking with the guys how it's going really, and yeah, all of them are pretty much as surprised as us, because it's definitely taken a turn for the worse. We've got a caution here every 5th lap or something. It's really not racing at the moment, and that's been the best statement I could take up. It's just driving under yellow, getting a short sprint in, pitting, driving under yellow, so it's definitely not been called racing for those guys. But still, I mean, we're in lap 47 for a couple of these drivers. We're in lap 51 for a couple of these drivers. So a lot of these drivers are still going. However, the leaders will go into lap number 63 this time by. And it will mean that we've still got a good lot to go here. And we've seen it. Finland took the lead early on. They've had a dominating first 20 laps. A few cautions came out, then DH took over, together with some drivers from Brazil and England, and now it's completely the other way around, and someone is at front, but it's completely mixed up. I cannot for the life of me say who's going to have the good ending in this.
And someone made a good point as well, and this is Kevin Lindbergh, who did say that in the NASCAR World Championship race the last time around, there was a lot of cautions there as well, and that is in many parts attributed to the high banks, high speed racing. And we had some of the races in the qualifiers which went green for a number of 30, 40, 50 laps. Other races which were very stop-start like this, unfortunately, it is the way that this type of racing lends itself to in this nationwide Impala B car. Meanwhile, lights out on the pace car. Let's go racing again, and let's go racing for a little bit longer, boys, as the pace car going to make that left turn down towards pit road. You know what it was? We never did a boogity to get ourselves going, and that's the reason why.
If we've done the first time by, it wouldn't have happened.
Pace car, bound to make that turn down towards pit road. Let's restage the entire race. We've got Mantilla bringing the field back to green flag racing. Boogity! Let's go racing and go green flag laps, boys. Tovalainen there, moving himself into the second position. Marco Penton in third, Petr Kotovara in fourth, Jean-Paul Niels in the 5th position, Martin Tempestev in 6th, Igor Kops in 7th, Kolinsky in 8th. The field a little bit better now as they're working their way down the back straightaway with 64 laps complete out the line. Out front it's Mantilla still leading the way, Tovalainen, Penton and Kotovara, and then the first of the DH drivers is Niels. You've got yourself a number of clubs still represented here as they're working their way off the banking down onto the front straightaway once again. Petr Kotovara and once again secondly battling competition. We've got Club UK and iDrive, Simon Field. He's been very good on the restarts, but then he loses a lot of speed after these first couple of laps. We've got Rel Savia going very high out of turn number 2, Marius. But out front it is still the finish driver. It's been charged heavily by the DH driver.
Yeah, and once again, a very difficult situation here. We've got Nihois together up front as Petri Kotavara puts the car sideways. Martin Thiem can't avoid him. Dirk Kalinowski can't avoid him, and also some drivers from Brazil in there. And surprise, surprise, another caution. And I'm kind of losing my patience on this one. Guys, just behave for a couple of laps. It's not really that hard. Every third lap, we're going under yellow. The race is taking more than an hour already, and we've got an average of a lap for almost a minute here. And these guys are usually doing lap times under 30 seconds.
And I'm having a look back. The reason why Kotavara, looking as though the reason why he got turned is he just had a bit of a bump there by Neelis as it worked away out of turn number 4. That's what sideways. And then he got a second bump there. As he's trying to sort his car out by Martin Temps. It's a huge log jam. And then Temps was involved in that. We had Kolinsky involved in that as well. Igor Cox was able to get himself past that, but having a look at it in slow motion, and drivers swarming to avoid it. Kotavara's car has got all forms of damage there. The 48 car, or 42 car, so Bjorn Hagner, spinning as well. And all these cars trying to avoid the incident on the racetrack. Caution back out. And David, it looks as though that Kotavara, he got that car saved once, and then that second hit as he was having to slow down a little bit, that's what's spun him around.
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate to, once you get the car sideways, again, I said earlier, you're racing so close that one slightest mistake, doesn't matter how quick your reactions are, you're not going to be able to dodge it. Yeah, unfortunate. It's panned out again well for Finland, I see. So more pitting and more cautions, I think, will carry on.
And as I've been doing a DW accent, I'll do another one. Caution, breed, cautions.
Also, that last wreck has really hurt Diach, because two of the ones who are running up there, Martin Thiem and Jorn Jens is involved, and I think Jorn Jens, there's smoke coming from his car and it seems to be slowing down, so maybe Jorn Jens' engine may have blown. I don't know for sure, but there was definitely smoke coming from that and it slowed down quite rapidly.
Yeah, the engine is turned, so engine dead for Jorn Jens.
And I tell you what, this has completely turned the point standings on its head. In 4th place, 275 points, Club UK and I. In 3rd place, 321 points, is Club Brazil, but just 3 points behind now, Club Diach, and Finland have got an almost unassailable lead. And it's completely changing and evolving this race, and the team aspect of this, it creates a number of different things. Of course, you help your teammates out, and you don't give any room to the drivers who are not your teammates. But what that does is it creates huge log jams on the racetrack, David, and we've seen these drivers trying to work together. One of them gets put on the outside line, trying to get back into line, that's when things go catastrophic.
Yeah, when you get down to the outside line, there's nothing you can do. You're going to get freight train railroaded, and then they're so desperate to try and get back in line that they just push the issue when it's not there. And I know why they do it, because they're racing hard for their country and they want to win. But sometimes you just might as well just sit out there and let everyone go by and see if you can come up again through the field after the pits.
And with 30 laps to go, we'll go back to green flag racing, Dan. It's right now, I mean, it's been a very messy race. That's the thing that we can take away from this. And you know, was this, I mean, we can answer questions after the race. Was this the right track and the right car combination to do it with? We've seen in the qualifiers it works well, but when you just have the 4 clubs represented, it does make things a lot more difficult, it seems. And that's what's been happening here. These drivers wanting to bunch themselves together in groups. And I don't know what it's been. What was the symptom of this race? Was it just hard racing, or was it just the fact that these teams are trying to help each other out and not paying too much attention to everyone else around them?
I think it's been a really aggressive, right from the start. We've seen 2-3 wide moves, and really, in a respect, I don't think the race has really ever got away, to be honest. It's been stop, start, stop, start. We've never really had true race as such over a long run. It just seems to be a battle of attrition and who can avoid the wrecks, and at the moment it seems like Finland's are coming up trumps, but Brazil have also, the last couple of cautions, managed to get themselves into it as well. So it's really, I'm really disappointed really. I was expecting them to have a good race and it's turned anything but that.
So we'll keep an eye on the iRacing.com pace car. The lights are off once again. You can keep in contact with us on Twitter. Don't forget, iRacing World Cup. And Marius, what's going to happen now?
Please don't ask me. I'm fearful to predict anything. I'm just hoping. I mean, we are in lap 70 right now. The leaders have just completed lap 69. So that means we've got 30 laps to go here. And I'm not even going to say that this is going green till the end. I mean, it's never going green to the end. Sorry for sounding so pessimistic, but these guys have proven that they just can take it easy for a couple of laps. And I'll just hope we see, I mean, 2 cautions maybe, 3 cautions maybe. Just please end within the next 30 minutes and keep it clean for a couple of laps right now.
And the pace car worked way down the back straight away. And to all you drivers, please just pull those belts tight one more time. Let's go racing. All of that malarkey. Pace car working its way through
and
turn number
Will,
3
don't
and
do
4.
the boogity. It didn't
No,
help.
boogity didn't work. We'll try something else, shall we? We're going slightly senile here in the GlacierTV booth. We'll then sit down late. David Ward, Mario's gone back along for the last 30 laps of the 2012 iRacing.com World Cup Finals. Pace car going to make his way back on towards pit road, and as he does so, the last 30 laps of the race here at Texas Motor Speedway is green, and they come back down into turn number 1. Mantino, a good start once again. Lucas Overlining tucking in right behind. Andrew Piersland trying to work himself on the outside line with Marco Penson. Penson does manage to get back in line, however, and Pierce is now going to try and do the run down on the inside, so work their way back down into turn number 3 for Guido Mahura.
Oh, and surprise, we've got a caution.
The 69, 35 and the 57, I can see that happening earlier in the first corner really, because the 69 of John Paul Nee, who's just involved with that, gave Blake Townend the tap, and then as they came onto the straight, there's a 3-way collision between Steve Richardson, Blake Townend and that John Paul Nee has, so that was coming right from the start of the caution, the restart even, when there was a tap going into turn 1 and 2, and it just finished off with them having the 3-way collision.
That's a disgrace to the number 69.
And you are the driver of the number 69 often, and yeah, we're going to get yourself a replay of that on our screen. It was a 3-wide moment, say coming down into turn 1 and 2, which then made it into a 3-wide moment on the back straightaway. And it does now, however, look that onto the back straightaway. I don't think that Richardson saw the DS driver there in the car once they got onto the back straightaway, but by that point it was almost academic. And I mean, whilst you had the moment there, it was Richardson on the back straightaway who did turn his car a little bit to the right-hand side, which caused the impact.
It's hard to say who caused it, but definitely Jean-Paul Neo is involved in that. But just once again, I mean, 3 wide out of turn 2, and you obviously have to rely on your fellow drivers there to keep it safe, to just rely on the spotter and Steve Richardson on the inside. I mean, put yourself in his position coming down out of turn 2. I mean, you see the car next to you, you see that Nihus is there, but then again, Blake Townend is also on the inside, so he leaves room for one of them, but he can't just guess that Townend is away, because they are not literally side by side. I mean, there's half a car gap between them, and it's just something which is inevitable once again, if not stopped from its original creation. I mean, this shouldn't have happened in the first place, because this situation is already way too dangerous.
And I have to say, the drivers, the fans are still enjoying this. They decided to rate the barrel roll there out of 10. We have scores of 9.5, 9.5. We have a 9.9 and a 10 there for the barrel roll. So, to you fans, I hope that you are enjoying this. We do apologise to say once again we can't dictate the racing here at Texas Motor Speedway, but we hope that you're enjoying the spectacle anyway. And at least, guys, people are having fun, and the World Cup is...
People are having fun. William Vincent saying that people are having fun. We would like to know from you, the spectators, in the spectator chat, who of you is having fun with this right now? Please tell me.
If you're a spectator and you're having fun right now, 10. Please let us know. Mark, yeah, the fun you're having out of 10. But... we're going slightly mad here in the GlacierTV booth. We've got ourselves 20. Well, we'll have about 27 laps left to go. The lights are still on the pace car, so we've got another 2 laps. We'll have 25 laps left to go. We'll just go back to green flag racing. Marius, can you talk for a minute? I've got to go and get some water.
Yeah, I'm not not surprised about that. I can, however, talk about a minute, and I've got the feeling that Dan and David have not been talking so much. So I don't know what you guys have been doing. Obviously, been relaxing a bit and following the events, but it's really hard to believe, is it?
Yeah, it's really hard to believe just how many cautions there's been in this race. As Will said before, in the qualifying races, it seemed people were a lot more relaxed. I think maybe the pressure of this World Cup final, just how close people are, is forcing people maybe to be a bit too aggressive and do things they wouldn't normally do, because it's certainly ignited the aggression, and for an oval race to have this many cautions is extremely rare in the iRacing service, really. So it's a bit of a shame, really, but I think the pressure and the intensity of the situation is really getting to the drivers at the moment.
People already talking of cancelling the races, so you get a view about how severe that is. However, we've still got the 3 Club Finland drivers ahead. Jukka Savolainen sandwiched by Jiri Mäntylä and Marco Penttinen, followed by a couple of drivers, and by a couple I mean 5, a full house of Brazil drivers behind them, and then another 2 Finland drivers. So it's all looking very good for Finland so far, but we've seen how quick these things can change. But for DH, it's not looking that good, because a couple of drivers for them are already out and they are way far in the pack. But by the looks of it, I mean, David, taking a look at the cars, and I'm having a hard time finding a single car which isn't at least a bit scraped.
Yeah, I mean, these short track ovals, isn't it? You're always going to get the little bump and run stuff going on, and that's going to damage the cars, regardless.
And to whoever's suggesting a drinking game, I saw one earlier on. Finish your drink every time there was a caution. We apologise to you for being paralytic right now, and also 1 or 2 people who saying they could have been enjoying acts of coitus. But yes, Jiri Mäntylä leading the way back to green flag racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Jukka Savolainen in 2nd, Marco Penttinen in 3rd, as Anderson Pace in 4th. Bruno Mahoney rounding out your top 5. We're going to go back to green flag racing this time by here.
Will, I've got a good idea. We could actually have the viewers just guessing how long it will be green this time, and we'll think about something for a surprise for them. But just tell us, how long do you think it's going to go green? Lap 76 is starting this time by, so will it be 3 laps? Will it be 5 laps? I'm anxious to see if it's going to the end, but we are under green again. Club Finland once again, a great start from the guys on top, followed by the full house of the Brazilian guys, and down into turn 1 everything still looks quite safe, and I've got a good feeling that we might at least complete 1 lap here.
We might complete up to 1 lap here as we're working our way around the Texas Motor Speedway once again here, and it's a good start by the Finnish drivers once again, working away out of turn number 3 and 4. And it's Mäntylä still leading away from Jukka Savolainen, from Marco Penttinen, from Anderson Paes. Bruno Mahora in 5th position.
Brazil cars hit the wall there, and he's onto the grass. I don't know if he managed to escape it. He was one in front of Alexia Loma, so...
Pedro Carvalho.
Pedro Carvalho, yes.
Yeah, he was able to get back out onto the racetrack. No caution, thankfully, mercifully. Sapello is trying to work on the outside line there, so working away back down the straightaway. 77 laps going to be scored complete at the line, but here comes Marcelo Massa now down to the inside of Zapata as they work their way through turn number 3 and 4. Zapata just giving him the position there. He wants to try and get a couple of laps done under green, but Brazil have really come into their own on this oval race. The top drivers, they are separated very closely on the racetrack, and here comes the Brazil charge now, led by Anderson Paes. Rubino Morayo just a couple of positions behind, and they're working their way down the back straightaway, but he's still got the 3 Finnish drivers out front trying to protect that race lead. And I tell you what, they're going to make life hard for Brazil driver like Paes, now right up into the rear of Marco Penttinen, as we've got 78 laps of 100 score complete here at Texas.
And we are surprisingly still green, and we may not forget, Finland has got this sealed up pretty tight right now. It's looking very good. The first DH guy in 10 right now, and the DH guys just further down the grid, all damaged. And we may not forget, however, Brazil is still not out of this completely, so we're getting the points momentarily. UK and I pretty much out of it, DH pretty much out of it, and it is Finland currently with 430 points. Of course, that is road and oval, and Brazil has got 328, so excuse me for being so, positive about that, but it's going to be a hard job for them as well, and by the looks of it, everything points towards Club Finland.
I I don't think Brazil would have thought that they could have a chance to overtake Diach after the road race, but it just shows how unpredictable the ovals are. That Brazil, who many people probably didn't fancy to beat the Diach team, I certainly would have thought at the beginning of proceedings that Brazil would beat Diach overall, but it just shows the unpredictability of this oval racing, that they managed to get themselves up to second place overall, it looks like.
Yep, with that going here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Still working on the green. Surprise, surprise. Things are actually going green for a moment here. Anderson Payer still trying to close down these top 3 Finnish drivers. The gap as they came past start finish, and we had 5 cars separated by less than 1 second on the racetrack. Ian Hackney trying to make the car track a bit. He's working himself on rails. Rivera as they're working away out of turn number 4 once again. Ahead of them, however, you see, you've got a Yuri Montilla still leading the way. Finish car slow on the outside line. That is Petru Cotavara with his Thomas 49 race car. He's letting it all go past. Nice easy there for him. As we're also very there, losing a position. That was very close to work the way down the back straightaway. And look at this! The long jump coming up as they're working their way down. And I tell you what, it's all changed, because look at this! Anderson Payer is down to the inside Montilla. Marco Penton is going to take the race lead. But look at the Brazil drivers, they are charging away now on the inside line.
Yeah, they definitely still want this, and I was just about to say a good indicator of how much we spent under a caution here is that Joni Beckman's car went from absolutely totaled into somewhat drivable. I mean, that's the best indicator you can get, but it's absolutely amazing what the Brazil guys can still do. I mean, they've been out of this race for almost 70 laps here, and now they seem to be fighting back, so they still seem to see a chance there, now putting down Jari Mentili and Jukka Savola in 2 positions there. But for Club Finland, anything they do right now has to have a huge portion of safety in it, because they just need to finish this. So don't be pushed into any wreck, don't try to afford anything you wouldn't be able to afford, just try to bring it home right now. 15 laps to go at Texas Motor Speedway, and then we've got a new World Cup title winner here. I mean, that's safe to say, and by the looks of it, it will be Finland.
I wonder if the Finland captain Joni Beckman may even instruct them to let the Brazil ones go, just to let them pass, because they're not really a threat overall in the championship. They've got quite a few different points. As you said before, safety is the main thing. So it wouldn't hurt them maybe if they let the Brazil ones go, just to let them have the victory in this race, to keep themselves safe and undamaged, because the last thing they want is to get into a big battle with these Brazil guys and end up having a crash with them. So you might even see them let them pass, just to let them race.
Yep, as they work way through turn number 3 and 4 again, this time by 15 laps left to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. The points being updated. 298 points, Finland 428 points, Finland 330 points, from UK and I 276 points. But yeah, almost going to come home in 4th if things don't go their way much longer. But this battle now for the race lead, you've got Marco Penton just 4 tenths of a second ahead of Anderson Payer, working away down into turn number 3 again. 14 laps left to go at the line. You've got yourself a Finnish driver, then you've got Brazilian drivers, and then a Finnish driver once again. So with Brazil's are in a Finnish sandwich right now as they're working away on the racetrack. You've got yourself slower cars ahead. Cotavara once again, and you've got Simon Field and Gary Perkins and Blake Towner. They are all going to be scored a lap down in a couple of moments time, as the PSF looking very close to the rear of Marco Penton, so working their way back down to turn number 3 once again. And look at how close he closed there as they worked their way back to the front straightaway. And I tell you what, pace is looking very close now to the rear of Marco Penton and Marius, and this could be exactly what you were saying of how the Finnish drivers need to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, the Brazilian drivers will just try everything, as I'm just saying that Anderson Payer gives Marco Penton just a little bit of a nudge there into turn 1, almost enough there to put him sideways, but they will just try everything to get the positions, and well, if they send a Finland driver into the wall there, no loss for them, because they need the points.
Yep, and you talk about a Hail Mary pass in the NFL. This could be a Hail Mary maneuver here by Brazil. Get all of your drivers out front and see what happens from there. And Penton not having any of it that last lap. Let's see what happens when he comes to the back straight away. Once again, we're going to have 11 laps left to go at the line now. Pace looking down to the inside. The battle for the race lead. Pace is going to try and take it away from Marco Penton. And from nowhere, Club Brazil now to the race lead here at Texas Motor Speedway. He's got Blake Towner, and he's going to have to clear to come out of turn number 4. Easily done there for Payer as Towner just moves out of the way. But Penton now back into the 2nd position. And it did look as though Penton just gave it up there now.
Yeah, and also now he's got Bruno and Ranha behind him in third place, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Will he let him go as easy as he lets Anderson Pace through? And it's getting very dicey there going down the back straight, and he goes down the inside of Nirvana, and I think Penton is just going to let him pass. There's no point there. It looks like the Brazilians are quite fierce. They know what they want from this race, and that's a victory, and it looks like they'll take it at all costs, so that's probably the safest option there for Penton.
Indeed, and it is probably unsurvivable for Club Finland as they're working away. 10 laps left to go in this race. Onto the back straightaway once again. It is now Anderson Pace leading the way from Bruno Mahara, and then Marco Penton in third. Jukka Sovalainen in the fourth position. Jiri Mancina rounding out your top 5. And Marius, the race has changed so many times. We've had ourselves a green flag run for the last laps or so now. But it's interesting to see clubs still have the speed. If they were better on the road courses, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But it's definitely too late to think about that right now, because safe to say right now, even if we say a caution, if we see a caution, I don't think it's going to change too much, because Finland has got almost 100 points ahead of them. So even if one of the top runners gets nudged out, even if 2 or 3 of them get knocked out and just finish in around place 20 there, they're not going to lose more than 3 or 4 laps. So anything happening to the Finnish guys, yeah, I mean, excluding a mass disconnect really would not change anything about this situation. So we've got 7 laps to go for the guys here, and amazingly we're still under green, and by the looks of it, just yeah, pretty much half of the field is still going. A few cars heavily damaged, just trying to get out of the way, and that's what we needed. It took us 80 laps really for the guys to just put in some green laps there, and that is just leaving me very disappointed.
Yep, and we've got ourselves less than 10 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. This is the oval final of the 2012 iRacing.com World Cup here on GlacierTV. We brought you the road racing earlier on today. This is the oval race to determine who will be the World Cup champions for 2012. Who will carry the honour? As you see there, Marco Penton and a little bit of attack from JC Nogueira as they're working away onto the front straightaway once again. This time by 6 laps left to go. And David, it's been highly intriguing to see the Brazilian charge.
Yeah, they're just popping going for it now. If they listen to Finland, I'm just wondering if they were being a bit overcautious when Brazil started coming through. But you know, they should just let the Brazilian guys through. They're not going to lose any points.
Sorry to interrupt you, David, but McGrath making his move now. Marco Penton to take 4th place. And as you said, there's not really much point in risking it. So that means Brazil are now 1st, 2nd and 4th.
Yep.
And we're really struggling with the points, like a bit disheartening from the UK there. But maybe we might be able to be DH.
Who knows, with just a couple of laps left to go. 4.5 laps as they're onto the back straightaway once again. And Penton again, he just let Nogueira go past him on the back straightaway. The Finnish drivers know all they need to do is bring their cars home in, well, I'd say one piece, and pretty much all the cars are bent up on this racetrack. Bring the cars home, and they will be the World Cup champions for 2012. Diaz pretty much out of it for this year. They're going to have to, for the first time on iRacing, relinquish their World Cup Championship. And we've got ourselves now 2.5 laps left to go. Anderson Pace working his way down the back straightaway in the 18 car. Bruno Mahara in the 2nd position. Jukka Sovalainen in 3rd. Jason Nogueira in the 4th position. Marco Penton rounding out your top 5. Then Jiri Mancina, Joni Hagner, Real Savaria, Alexia Lobo, Benjamin Burmeister. They round out your top 10. And you've got Pedro Cavallo going slowly there on the racetrack. I don't know if there's been any issues for him, but he's going slowly. He's into the wall. We've got ourselves a lap, 2.5 laps left to go here of this race. Working away down the back straightaway once again. And Dan, for Brazil, that's disappointing for them, but they still got cars out front.
Yeah,
they still do.
What happened there? What happened was he was Marcelo Massa, Pedro Cavallo, and they're racing with Benjamin Burmeister. The two Brazilians were really going for it. And Pedro Cavallo hit the wall. He did well to stop it from spinning out, and he managed to get it down low, and now he's into the pits. But yeah, back to Marius.
Yeah, 1 more lap for these, 1.5 more laps in fact for Anderson Paes to bring it home for his club. I mean, it's a good thing they take this home 1st and 2nd, but it will be Finland, and it will be Jukka Sovalainen who is the 1st on the 3rd, the podium for Jukka Sovalainen. 1 more lap to go for the guys now, and 1 more lap for the first winner here of the iRacing 2012 World Cup, different than DH. And safe to say, an absolutely tremendous race here. I mean, we've had so much going on here. It couldn't get more unpredictable than that. But the big part and the big stone in the performance is definitely the road performance of the Finnish guys. And you might even argue that this has been too crazy or something. But it will come down to the road performance, and we will take the victory for Anderson Paes, who goes over the grass there and takes home first and second together with Bruno Norana. Brazil takes the race, Finland takes the World Cup, and that is, in my opinion, due to the great performance on the road, and they still came out best in this absolutely troubleful race, and a deserved victory for Finland, that's for sure. Yeah.
So Anderson Paes' victory here at Texas Motor Speedway. Bruno Moreira comes home in the second position. Jukas Overlining comes home in third. JC Nobrera coming home in the fourth position. Marco Penttinen in fifth. Yo Mantilla in the sixth position. Raul Savaria in seventh. Fiona Hagner in eighth. Aleski Aloma in ninth. Benjamin Burmeister rounding out your top 10 with Marcelo Massa in 11th. Jonathan Rex in 12th. Andy Keresoffer in 13th. Yoa Sapela in 14th. Igor Cox in 15th. Alex Stevens in the 16th position. Steve Richardson in 17th. Alexandra Abraham in 18th. Dennis Sutcliffe in 19th. And Blake Townend running out your top 20. And it is Donut City here on the front straightaway. You got Anderson Paes doing donuts. You got Finland doing donuts. You got some other random Brazilians doing donuts. A 32 car there, Bruno Moreira doing donuts. It is Donut City, and they're all slamming into each other. This is highly entertaining to watch here. But we can confirm that Finland are your 2012 World Cup winners, taking their first World Cup victory, ending the dominance of Club Diat. We're going to get ourselves the final points very short in. By our watch, we can confirm that in fourth place was Club UK&I with 284 points. In third, Club Diat 295 points. In the second position, we had Club Brazil, and then in the first spot with 426 points, we had Club Finland, and a great drive there by Club Finland over the two races to take the championship.
Needless to say, that is well deserved, so it's not coming down to a completely random race here. We still had the road race, and Finland came out of that with 26 points over Diat. The reigning champions have been defeated. Finland, the new iRacing club champion. We had a new format this year, and I'm not really sure if exactly we're going to keep that, because this has been one of the most troubleful oval races I've seen in my career. I haven't seen that much, but it still was absolutely stunning how much these guys caused cautions. And in the end, it was just down to the wire, really. Finland came out best of it, and it is going to be Finland taking the crown here. And we haven't got anything to interview yet, because these guys seem to be completely partying up there.
Yeah, I'm going to go back up there and just see what's going on. Dan, talk for a minute.
I'm actually quite impressed Brazil's performance in this oval race. They seem to take it pretty seriously and get themselves up into the top positions, and yeah, I didn't think Brazil would do as well as they did in this oval race, so good credit to them for this oval race.
And at this, we'd like to welcome in the club captain for the winning club of the 2012 iRacing.com World Cup with a slightly smug face. Congratulations, Joni.
Thanks, man.
And
Well done,
it was a highly confusing race.
Oh, really?
Highly confusing oval race. You came into it with all the points in your way. You led the first 20 laps, then pit stops and cautions 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 and cautions, and you eventually come out the winners. I want to take you back, Chloe, to those last 20 laps, that run to the checkered flag. And it looks as though that, I don't know whether it was from you or from the drivers themselves, and they just allowed people to kind of go past them. Were they just running for points at the end, or were they just trying to run in for the win?
Well, after at one stage when there was a situation where my car was wrecked because of that unfortunate straight incident, we were in a situation where we had Diat with positions 1 to 5 with the superior pit stop strategy, and people were, some guys were starting to get a bit down, and at that stage I just basically, when my race was I just tried to gather loose points, whatever I could get. I basically did the only job that I could do as a captain, and just say, like, fine, if they have a top 5, then so be it. But let's just like forget the points thing and just keep your head straight, focus on the race, and like it happens this way, it happens this way. And then we had a few cautions, and all of a sudden I started noticing that there was only Brazilians and Finns in the top. And at that stage, I just told the guys that, yeah, like you guessed, I said that in the 20-something laps to go, I just said, like, okay, we got this in the bag if you guys can keep it in the top 10. So if some like a Brazilian guys behind you just start doing overtaking maneuvers, just don't fight it, just let them go and just follow them. You will surely get the top 10 spots, and that's exactly what the team did.
So overall, coming from the road race, this, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this has definitely been the cornerstone in your performance tonight. 26 points over D-Edge coming from the road. You've had a good shot at the oval race, and from the start it has all been looking very good. But one thing, I mean, from club manager to club manager, well deserved, first of all, congratulations from me and the entire club. Especially about the road performance, that has just been staggering. Overall, I think we have to repeat that, because I can't get the feeling that either one of our drivers have had the chance to really get into the race, because so much preparation went into this, and it literally came down to 15 green laps at the end, which decided everything. Of course, you coming out as a legit winner from this, but I mean, we haven't really seen a race.
Yeah, I completely agree, and like I said at the end of the road race where we had the lead, where I like you said, it was staggering performance. That was far better than I could have ever estimated against a club like DH. But when we had that lead, yeah, I was a bit confused about, okay, what now, since we estimated that it's going to be closer than that after the road, and then we have the oval. But like I said after the race, that oval is always more or less lottery. I mean, like we saw 1 year ago, the United States club had 4 drivers in the top 6, and all of a sudden after one caution they had 1 car in the 15th position. So yeah, I'd really love to see a proper race instead. Yeah, there was just from, like, we couldn't get 2 green laps in the books without action during the first 30-something laps, which I think was just ridiculous overall. I mean, there was just so many stupid mistakes, easy spins, too much less checking up, etc., etc. I mean, nobody to blame naturally, since we're in a pack. Anything can happen, but yeah, I totally agree with you that I just wouldn't like the World Cup decided in a race like this. But it is what it is, and thank you very much for your kind words.
However, another congratulations from me, a good race from all of you guys, and it's been a fairly good event, and we'd like to welcome Mike Roulette with us, and you kind of need to notice that I'm shifting towards this German kind of English, so I'm best be going right now. Mike Roulette and Will Vincent together in the booth, and that's it from me for tonight. Congratulations Finland once again. Good performance from you on the road, and just got it through on the oval, really. So well-deserved victory for you, and we'll see about that next time, so see how it plays out, and Mike will probably let us in on his views for that right now.
And Mike, first of all, thank you very much for hosting the World Cup for us this year once again. But the oval race kind of didn't go the way that some people wanted it to be. A lot of cautions. Can you take much of that away for your preparation for next year?
Definitely. First I want to say congrats, Joni. Awesome job, Finland. You guys did it. You worked your butts off for this, and you ought to be happy about it, even though the race wasn't very good. But as far as the oval race, it was very disappointing. There are some things that we can take away, and I don't want to overreact. And frankly, as Joni and Marius can attest, we don't do anything by one person's decision. Everything is a vote by the club captains, and we'll take all of this on board. But really disappointing. I mean, halfway through the race, I'm thinking, man, should we have had a fixed dump truck style setup in there instead of as loose as we could get, or live stewarding? And I don't know that would have helped. And I've heard people say, official versus unofficial, and I don't know that would have helped either. I think people are willing to put some safety rating on the line for a single type of race. So there's a lot of things to think about. It was disappointing to see. I know everybody was racing hard and wanted to win for their club, and I guess this was the product of that, and so we'll have to go back to the drawing board a little bit, but overall I was pretty happy with the result in general.
And I said bring you back into the booth after the end of the race. There are 2 more awards that we need to give out. We've talked about the club MVPs, and we've also talked about the Ironman awards, but 2 left to give out. It's the overall tournament most valuable player, driver, and also the club captain award. Mike, off you go.
All right, great. Well, these are awards for the tournament last week, and Jorn Jens was the overall highest points getter for any single driver for any club. So he's the MVP or MVD, as you said earlier, of the tournament. Congratulations from DH. And Joni not only wins the World Cup, but is the captain of the year by virtue of a staggering, really amazing 10% of Club Finland participated in the qualifier, doubling almost Brazil in terms of participation rate. So fantastic organization on his part and all of Club Finland.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I really have to say that I don't want to take any credit away. I mean, last year we had a problem of the fast guys either having some real life issues, or then they had the Intel GTs or whatever as their concern, and they just couldn't put enough time and effort to like make a serious run. And this time, really, I have to say big thanks to everyone in Club Finland who participated in the finals. They really gave it all they had. They really put dedicated practice time in it, testing setups, giving feedbacks, and making them faster, making them easier for the not so fast drivers. And really the team spirit in Club Finland forums have been just through the roof pretty much throughout the whole World Cup thing. And we knew we had potential and after last year, but because of the structure system, it was just impossible for us to reach finals. But this time, when we saw the awesome structure that you guys put out, we really knew we had a good chance. And when people realized that, they really gave all they had. And yeah, I don't have any like for Team Finland. It's just an amazing group of people.
And some very funny things already coming out, but I mean, how easy, difficult was it to rally Club Finland around this year? I mean, it's always been said that if they've got some of the best sim races in the world, however, previously they haven't really had was it the drive, the desire, or just the mass coming together to compete in the World Cup finals? I mean, what was different this year? I mean, you've talked about the intel in the fact that they didn't want to, they had other things going on. What was it specifically this year that they really wanted to achieve?
I think it was mainly the fact that every time I heard some people discussing about the former DWC series, they had lots of Finnish flags over there, and people were just saying that Finland is this fast and that fast, and we knew we had potential, but everyone just were like, but based on the system that we have in hand, we basically have no chance because of not having enough low iRating participation to cover the whole need. I mean, last year we had 8 divisions, and I think in four of the divisions we didn't have any drivers at all, so that basically destroyed us. But this time it was up to pure madness, to insane drive in the forum, TeamSpeak, everywhere. Just people wanted to really give Finland a proper run to win the World Cup, since they knew we had fast drivers. We had a good group of people who were willing to assist people and assist the club as a whole. And yeah, I would primarily say that it was just the, I don't know if rage would be a proper word, but just the drive was just there to like really show what we do on the road. Naturally, like I said, oval was more or less lottery, even though we have few fast people on ovals as well, but the road was something that we really wanted to show what we had.
And I'm going to ask you a very personal question. Do I get a free invite to Finland now?
Yeah.
Yay! And Mike, I'll come back to you because I know you've got a lot of stuff still to do post-rep. Is there anyone you'd like to say thank you to at all?
Absolutely, Yoni, all the club captains, but in particular, Kat Scott from UK&I deserves the lion's share of the credit for the design of the tournament. As I said, it's all democratically voted on and all of that, but if you looked at her original proposal from literally a year ago, the final version is very close to that, with some tweaks, and we'll tweak it some more. But really, she deserves a ton of credit for this whole deal. And yeah, just all the drivers in general. We had over 1,200 starts last weekend. I was blown away, and I'm hoping that next year we get double that.
Mike, thank you very much, not only for joining us in the booth here today, but also for the work that you and your entire team have done for the World Cup for 2012. I'm sure we'll see you same time, same place next year.
You got it. Thanks.
And we'll just debrief a little bit more with Yoni. That race itself, were you scared at any point that you'd thrown it out the bag?
Well, I don't think scared would be a proper word. I mean, I never lost faith in the team. Let's just put it that way. But I knew that when we had 5 DH members in the lead, naturally that means bad things for Club Finland, because that naturally means DH did a drive-through pit stop basically just to get 2 guys in front of the queue, because then they could control the timing of the restarts, and they could control the letting the mates on the outside line drop to the inside by lifting in the inside. I mean, it was just a matter of controlling the pack. And once we saw the top 5 there, yeah, it was like I said, lots of guys were more or less down after realizing that, or seeing that there started to be somewhat like a depression mood from in the voices of few people. But like I said, I just kept people calm and said, like, if it's gonna happen that way, that's gonna happen that way, but just everyone keep their calm and just drive your car home. That's the most important thing, and in the end it paid off.
And all things considered, next year you're gonna have to do the same again, defending a championship. Can you do it? Can you go back to back like DX did 3 years in a row?
Yeah.
Yes, very very informed there. And I tell you what, there's a big party going up in the Club Finland Teamspeak. I can see it right there. I'll join you guys in a little bit.
Really? I would have never figured.
Go and enjoy it at 208 to 119, and go enjoy it.
Give us a second and you'll see the final point standings. We just finished the final calculations, so we should get the final results of the World Cup on your screens.
And Dan, you've been hurrying a calculator like a little beaver. Final thoughts of the race. Final thoughts of the World Cup.
I think the World Cup this year has been really good. I took part myself in the first qualifying round HAP UK&I qualifier. I think it has been very well organised. It's been very good actually. A bit of pride to get the club together. There were some arguments with the club UK&I, but I think it was just people were just so enthusiastic about it. They wanted to take part, and even though it's not good to have the team arguing, it's good in a way. So it just shows how much it meant to people. The World Cup really brought people together. We had lots of practice sessions. We had lots of people sharing setups and helping out. And I think really it's brought the UK&I community together, and probably the rest of the communities in the World Cup as well. So I think it's been a really good thing for iRacing to have this World Cup.
Indeed, yeah, and we do hope it comes back next year. And I have to say a huge thank you to all of the community that only has come together to organise the event, but also to run it as well, because without drivers running in it, we wouldn't have a World Cup. So we are going to get you final confirmation of the results up on the screen in a moment's time. Thank you very much also to all the viewers who's watching us. And don't forget, on Monday, GlacierTV's first anniversary Sebring International Raceway with the McLaren MB412-GT3, whatever they call it. The McLaren GT3 car, we're doing battle. Very similar. If you've seen Pro to Ice, it's very similar. Just a couple of rule tweaks. We'll take you through that as the two races progresses, but we're going to have ourselves the standard sprint race, and we're going to invert the field and go racing once again. I've added a couple of minutes to the second race to make things a little bit more intriguing. And Yoni, you were behind the Proto Ice. We got ourselves a great anniversary race and also a big announcement to make that night as well.
Yep. As you can see, the final point standings on the screen. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I'm looking very much looking forward to the anniversary race. I think the car is awesome. Well, should I say there cannot be a better car for that type of racing in iRacing, and the track is good. It's challenging. It's wide. It's fast. It's gonna be a barn burner. People really, if you really want to see a racing at its best, just be sure to tune in.
And we do apologise, we'll updated in a moment, and we will go off there with that. However, the 208 points was only just for the oval for Brazil. They got 119 points on the road. I'm going to do my mental maths in my head, but I'm dyslexic. This is going to make things very interesting for me. 327 points, am I right? Someone say right.
370 points what?
327 for Club Brazil. They had 208 points in the oval, 119 on the road. That's 327 points overall.
My Windows calculator agrees, if you will, so well done.
Woohoo! So we'll get that updated very clearly for Club Brazil. They came home in the second position. Club Diach, disappointing for them, Dan. They came home in third.
That'd be very disappointing. I think they were expecting Brazil to beat them as well. I know they thought Finland might give them a bit of a tough time, but I don't think they would have thought. I think this oval race really was bad luck for Diach. Really, they had at one stage it looked really good for them. They actually took the lead of the tournament at one stage, if you remember, Will. But from then on, it just seemed to go downhill, and they've dropped like a stone to third place.
How many points did you say Brazil had?
327.
So they got second place in the championship.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
And then in fourth, we had Club UK&I, and they tried their best, but on the road side, a bit of bad luck. On the oval side, lots of bad luck for them. And I mean, you had some of their big names come off very early on, and of course, then you had the incident with Blake Tan and Steve Richardson, which put paid to their chances of trying to get to third. Otherwise, Diach could have been looking at a fourth place finish here.
Yeah, it was only 9 points, I think, in the end between Diach and Club UK&I anyway. So UK&I would be pretty pleased, I think, to be 9 points behind Diach, despite the fact they've probably not had the best of times. As you said, some of the better guys on our oval side got took out really early, which didn't help at all. But they kept on going, and the fact that we've not disgraced ourselves, UK&I, and I think it's been a good tournament. I don't think we were expecting to get as high as we have done. So I think it's a bonus to go into next year, and hopefully UK&I can improve over the course of the next year and fight for overall contention in 2013.
Timo even and Timo on Twitter. We did it. Amazing fight with Diach, but we stopped their reign of World Cup wins. Amazing effort by my fellow countryman. Timo even and there celebrating the Finnish World Cup victory. Of course, we've got plenty more action to bring you on GlacierTV these coming weeks and months. GlacierTV will be bringing you, of course, the second of the World Tour events for 2013 with the 2.4 hours of Daytona. If you missed the Raw before the 2.4, what were you doing? It'll be on the YouTube channel in a couple of hours' time, we hope. And then, of course, the 2.4 hours of Daytona will have the McLaren MP4 GT3 car and the Riley Daytona prototype doing battle around Daytona International Speedway's road course. And then, of course, we'll also be bringing you the Daytona 500, the Pocono 400, and also the Grand Prix of Brazil as well. And we'll also be bringing you 14 of the 16 World Championship Series races for the Williams FW31 here live on GlacierTV as well. And now, finally, we have confirmation of the results. Finland, 426 points. Brazil, 327. Diach, 295. And UK and Ireland, 284 points. And with that, it is time for us to end our broadcast of the World Cup. Thank you very much to everyone who's joined us here on Glacier TV these previous couple of hours. It's been fun. It's been chaotic. At some points, it's just been pure and utter madness. I'm going to go and enjoy my guest appearance at the Finnish celebration party. Dan, feel free to join us. In the meanwhile, for myself, I'm Dan Blake from Marius Goddenbeck, who's very upset. Please be nice to him if you speak to him. And also David Ward and everyone else here at Glacier TV. Yoni, Jarno. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.